Now the tackle, it is the 18th of November 2021, tarehe 18 mwezi wa 11 mwaka 2021. Natumai kwamba mamka vizuri na uko tayari kuweza kutackle siku yako ya leo. With the tackle at the Diaspora edition of the Thursday of 18th November 2021. Na tuko na mheshimiwa hapa David SANKOK kutoka kule Narok. Tuko nasubiri mheshimiwa FARAH MAALIM Wiper Party, lakini amesema akona mkutano ya chama. Watu wanakuepa sana mheshimiwa kila siku.
Sijui ni nini mbaya. Siku hizi mtu wa Wiper, mtu wa ile chama ya Jogoo, mtu wa ODM ya Chungwa, wakisikia tu niko
area wanahepa,
sijui wanaenda wapi. Lakini FARAH MAALIM is a very respected elder, na ni kiongozi ambao tunamheshimu sana. I'm sure sio kuhepa, labda nikupata tu mkutano ama labda nikupigiwa simu kutoka above kwamba hapana wachana hiyo jamaa.
Kwa sababu last time pia unakumbuka ulikuwa hapa mwingine tena aliyepa
wa ODM hata juzi tena nikienda K24 nikienda Citizen, sijui wanaenda wapi,
wanaenda dunia gani? Haya, sawa, lakini karibu kama kawaida. Lazima tuende mbele za Mungu tuombe, alafu basi tukirudi na kuja kuona salamu zenu ziko wapi, alafu tunaingia kazi haraka upesi. Unajua SANKOK ni mzungu mweusi, kwa hivyo anachunga wakati, tutaweza kukimbiza kazi haraka upesi mbio. Tuombe. Mighty Father, we come before you this morning. We worship you, glorify your name. Thank you for another opportunity to be alive. We thank you for this program as we have this conversation. May it edify the fabric of this country. For we pray, trusting and believing. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Haya, masokoni kidogo, Maridadi Motors zinakupa nafasi ya kuweza kuagiza gari kwa bei nafuu zaidi. Maridadi Motors gives you an opportunity to import directly, and you get to save up to 300,000 Kenyan shillings. You don't get such a deal anywhere else. Uweze pata deal kama hiyo mahali pengine, mahali popote pengine isipokuwa Maridadi Motors. Maridadi Motors zinakupa nafasi ya kuweza import directly. In Maridadi Motors you get to save up to 300,000 Kenyan shillings. Maridadi Motors as well is giving you an opportunity to invest your money and get one up to 15% returns on your investment. Kama uko na pesa mahali ambayo umeiweka pale imelala, especially kama uko diaspora. Watu wa diaspora sana wanakuanga na kitu inaitwa liquid money. Kwa hivyo unaweza wekeza pale kuliko pesa ipotee kule tu, unaweka pale alafu unapata 15% returns. Ukiweka 1 million unapata 1.5, unapata 1.15 unapata so unapata 150,000. Hesabu nilisikia nikipita karibu na shule. Haya, unapata 1,150 kama faida. Na pia Maridadi Motors yako inakuwa nafasi ya kuweza ku save kwa njia mbili. Kama unataka ku save for an asset, unataka kununua gari, basi una save 50% value of the car, alafu hiyo nyingine unalipia pole pole ukisonga. That is Maridadi Motors. Maridadi Motors moves your status. Rexer Roofing as well. Kama unajenga na kupa nafasi ya kuweza kujenga kwa njia. Unajua ulikuwa umeniambia na order shingles ya green. Uliandaje? Ama project
bado haijawekwa roofing. Bado tulikuwa tunafikiria mambo tuweke na mbao, lakini kwa sababu mimi ni mtu wa kusave msitu, nafikiri tutaweka ya chuma. So nitaona.
Sasa unaona ya chuma shingles zinalalia vizuri sana kwa ya chuma. Na hata wako na chuma pia. Wako na kitu ambacho inaitwa steel trusses. Ile roofing. So inapima vizuri kabisa, unasema msitu. So anakuwekea vizuri, alafu shingles zinakuja na ala juu yake.
Hiyo ndio ilituchelewesha kidogo.
Hiyo ndio imechelewa. Sasa unapata solution iko nayo hapa.
Bas.
Kwa hivyo Rexer Roofing pia iko na steel trusses. Hivyo Rexer Roofing inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kuwezeka nyumba yako kwa njia shwari zaidi. Inakupa quality roofing shingles, stone coated tiles, na pia inakuletea water harvesting gutters. Na pia we still extending a 10% discount on waterproofing solutions. That is APP, waterproofing membrane, and also waterproofing liquid. Inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba nyumba yako haiwezi kuingiza maji hata kidogo. So you're giving you 10% on the 10th anniversary of Rexer Roofing. We're giving you 10% off all waterproofing solutions. Kama unataka pia flat roof, kuna kitu tu sikuzi flat roof. Kama unafanya flat roof, kuna waterproofing ambayo unaweza kuifanya, ama kama ni ghorofa pia, ndio ule mtu wako juu, maji yake ya bafu isiingie kwa hii nyumba iko chini. Labda mambo yanaingiana. Sasa ile waterproofing solutions from Rexer Roofing. Pia niko na kitu hapa nilikuwa nataka ujaribu. Nisaidie hiyo ni yangu hapo nikingoja. Nisaidie matunda yangu kidogo. Nataka mheshimiwa ajaribu. Matunda iko hapa. Okay. Mheshimiwa, hebu funguanga hii kwanza.
Hii ni nini?
Kaoni watu wa sweet tunda. Anaitwa sweet tunda, hii ni dried fruit. Onja, alafu niambie. Meanwhile, this square where pale Eldoret Ketia 4th floor pia inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kung'ara kama vile nang'ara kila siku asubuhi. Hata uniform tutatengenezea ole SANKOK, uniform ya green atengenezea ole SANKOK pale Ketia building 4th floor disco. Ukifika pale ambia Dandane amekutuma na atakupa discount ya hadi 10%. Haya, asante sana. Sijui unasikiaje hiyo matunda?
Hii matunda gani tamu hivi?
Hii inaitwa sweet tunda dried mango. 100% Kenyan. So wamechukua maembe. Ana vile imeandikwa vizuri, tunda dried mango Kenya, wakulima wa Kenya.
Hii ni tamu sana.
Hii ni tamu, inakarangwa Kenya hii. Unaona imekaushwa vizuri sana.
Sasa hii
ni matunda yanatembea nayo. Afya tu.
Uko na mingi?
Niko na hapa.
Okay.
Ampa moja. Mheshimiwa.
Lazima ndaenda na
ampa. Unaona ampa kama hii? 1,000 tu. Only 1,000. Inakuja na granola. Ani granola. Safi sana. Macadamia mixed seeds. Inakuja na matunda yake hapa. Only at 1,000 shillings. Hizo hapa inakupa products 3.
Hiyo lazima
1,000 tu. Ndio wewe kwanza lazima uchukue karibu 5. Kuna nasikiaje matunda?
Iko tamu sana.
So unaona wakulima pia wanaweza kupata faida.
Hata si kuchukua breakfast hata sasa
snacking.
Niko sawa sawa.
Unaona sasa badala ya kukula lunch. Nabeba kama hii 3. Naitafuna polepole ofisini. Unasikia afya unaongeza na pia ukuli sana. Sababu hii ni matunda tupu. 100%. No added sugar, no added preservatives. From sweet tunda. Asante sana sweet tunda. And we're telling you as well, if you want an ampa like you're seeing on your screen, it's only 1,000 shillings. Only 1,000 shillings. Unapata ampa yako safi sana hapo. Nakuja na granola na inakuja na matunda ya sweet tunda dried mango. Sweet tunda dried mango inaitwa guilt free indulgence.
Na iko wapi? Inapatikana wapi?
Wana deliver haraka upesi. Kama unasema unataka saa hii na weka order, kitambo toka hapa imefika, mzigo imefika. Anywhere, hata kama uko ofisini utaletea ofisini.
Okay.
So niambia unataka ngapi? Ampa ngapi?
Leta 2 kwanza nipelekea watoto.
Ampa 2 ya. Watoto wanafurahia sana kwa sababu hii natural.
Bas.
Haya. Asante ni mheshimiwa amesema ampa 2 kutoka Sweet Tunda. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Sweet Tunda. Na naongona ameamka hapa tayari. Wacha nisalimiwa wananchi wako alafu tuingie kazi. You say good morning. Mr. Olive, good morning. Martin, good morning to my brother. Elizabeth, good morning. Edwin Kibet, good morning. Balos Eric Beja. Mteregea Lukuyani, Kakamega County already logged in. Emmanuel Serem, good morning from Kablama Cherangani. Ana mamusha Cheptapkuri Reds, Honorable Moses Keberenyi Ganet, Cheruta, good morning GB. Mzee mwenyewe Paul Binasama, good morning GB. The Tacklas tuned in from Eldoret. Bowen Arab Bowen, morning Gerald, following you from Tanzania. Johnson Keko, good morning boss, good morning to you my brother. Laxi J, joining from Algasa, UAE, good morning GB, good morning to you. Maria Skipkirui, good morning team Tackle, tuned in from Wilson Airport Business Park. Asante sana to Wilson. Vikimo live from Bomet. Captain Sang, good morning. Ole SANKOK, wewe ni moto wa kuotea mbali. Haya. Alafu kiba, good morning Gerald Nico locked in kutoka Cheranganya, spreading the Kiwale Mjumbe anthem. Ala. Wanasema wanataka kubadilisha kutunya, niliona kutunya iliokoka. Ama siku hizi wokovu haijali.
Unajua inakuwa ngumu sana kwa sababu sisi wote bado tuko Jubilee. Kwa hivyo tuko na right ya kuwa hapo. Unajua kama hujajua sisi kama wajumbe wa Jubilee kila mwisho wa mwezi kama wewe ni elected unatuma 10,000.
10,000.
Kama wewe ni nominated unatuma 20,000.
Ala,
kila mwisho ya mwezi ili tuweze kumaintain hiyo ofisi. Kwa hivyo Jubilee ni yetu and we are not squatters. We are owners of Jubilee. Kwa hivyo hata kama Kutunyi ameamua ya kwamba in 2022 ni UDA lakini bado saa hizi ako na shares katika Jubilee. Pia naibu wa rais ndio deputy party leader mpaka saa hizi tukiongea na wewe Gerard. Na bado nafikiri sijui huwa wao wana contribute ngapi lakini Jubilee ni we have shares in Jubilee. So hata wakituita hiyo mkutano yenye wako nayo NDC, mimi nikipata barua ndaenda kuambia kwa kusema ukweli haiwezekani. Chama tawala ambayo iko na majority in Senate, iko na majority in National Assembly, iko na majority governors, iko na majority MCS, iko na majority women rep, haiwezekani fold iende join kachama kadogo ya opposition. Na ya kwamba 8 million of us who voted for Jubilee, 270 members of parliament who are aligned to Jubilee, several senators, several governors who are aligned to Jubilee, na several MCAs, thousands who are aligned to Jubilee. Ati tutakosa mmoja ambao tutasema kwa sababu naibu wa rais sio qualify, tuchukue SANKOK, tuchukue Ndwale, tumsupport kama presidential candidate. Ati sasa tuende tukomboe presidential candidate kutoka opposition, our worst enemy. You know, the person who was actually directly opposite of our manifesto. Somebody who saw nothing good in Uhuru, Muigai Kenyatta, and went ahead and actually sewn himself in as what they purport as a people president. Mtu mwenye alikuwa anataka kupindua serikali. You know, if I'm invited to that NDC meeting, I'll go and say it is not possible. Yes.
Okay. Haya, kwa hivyo inawezekana, lakini wananchi pia naona wanasema hapa uko ground wanataka kumbadilisha na mengi. Nilifikiri wanabadilisha watu ambao hawako UDA tu. Nimesikia wanasema wanamngojea pale wamgeuzie. I'm on live from Eldoret. Gideon Kiro, good morning, tuned in from Eldoret. MC Ken, good morning. Jana, good morning. Cheers, Kelagat, live from Doha. Good job. Asante sana ndugu yangu. Morning, tuned in from Kandisi. Ongata Tongai, Juliet Rowe. I'm on What? Salimia Ole SANKOK. Jana Kubiri, good morning to you. Kirui Collins, good morning. David Kamau na kuona. Clara Masi, Kwale watching. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Clara. Kipchumba Laudi, good morning to you, my brother. Governor Nick Cheria, tuned in from Ethiopia. Good to see you. Annex Eldoret. Yone Matik Sen, please. Anyway, kwa hivyo NDC, munaenda.
If you are invited,
you will go.
We will go.
But if you are not invited?
If I'm not invited, then I cannot get crushed. I'm of course above such. I don't get crushed. But if I'm invited, I'll go.
Okay.
And my mind is set that it's very difficult for us to have a coalition with ODM. It is not possible.
Haiwezekani.
Haiwezekani.
Haya basi. So, unafikiria state of the nation ikoje sasa hivi? Jana nimeona sinema sarakasi pale kwenye prisons. Rais pia Jubilee akatoa press conference akasema ya kwamba we need to be vigilant. Nikaona wafungwa jela Watera wametoroka Kamiti, maximum prison. What do you think is the state of the nation?
Imagine tukisema Kamiti maximum security prison. That is the least place we expect such nonsense to happen. Ati watu kuchimba ukuta, wakati wanagonga hiyo ukuta hakuna mtu amesikia, wakati they are scaling the walls, yet there are CCTV everywhere, hakuna mmoja ambao anaona. That was an arranged issue that was arranged within and within the top security organs, because I'm sure we have CCTV cameras which are not only monitored within Kamiti maximum prison but also monitored within our interior security ministry. Rais wangu alifanya kitu ya ajambo kidogo na ninafuu kidogo kwetu ya kwamba mkubwa wa magereza ameachishwa kazi. Lakini Your Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, that is a small fish. The big fish is Matiang'i because he's the overall. Why leave him? The big fish is Mutuambei, who is supposed to be in charge. Why leave him? Because at the moment hawa watu wametoroka ndio, wako katikati yetu. Askari yetu polisi wako kila pahali. Tuko na askari wa upelelezi, tuko na CIDs, tuko na NIS, all under the Interior and National Coordination Ministry. Yet hawajaweza kukamata hao wenye wako on the run. Juzi kulikuwa na ule mama ambao aliua watu. Yes? Na akakuwa on the run, akatravel from Nairobi all the way to her rural home, mpaka akaenda kujua kama askari yetu hakuna kitu yenye wanafanya. So hata kwenda kugeuza mageuzi katika prison haitoshi. The rot is from the head. Because as they say, the fish start rotting from the head. That is where the rot is. So I expected at least Matiang'i akuwe ameshaenda, because this guy is very busy politicking. He's very busy endorsing Raila rather than securing the lives of Kenyans. We even don't know if it is those characters, because it's just after 2 days when they escaped from Kamiti maximum security prison ambao Uganda was bombed.
Yes.
We don't know if they were involved. We can't say. But how they crossed the border, how they moved from Nairobi to wherever they have gone, from Kamiti maximum prison to where they have gone, where askari yetu polisi wako wapi? CID tunawalipa mshahara nini? NIS tunawalipa mshahara nini? So mageuzi ya prison ISID tungeanza from the top. Because walitoroka ndio. Kamiti maximum prison. And your excellency, you had all the right kumtimua mbio huyo mwenye alikuwa anasimamia. Lakini wako nje sasa. Wanapanga njama ya terrorism. Hatujui wanapangia wapi. Hatujui where they will hit. Na wewe umewacha Matiang'i. Mwenyezala alikuwa suppose wakishatoka pale jela ama prison wakishatoroka, Matiang'i ndiye ana take care wakiwa nje. Mtu ambaye ndiye anatakiwa kuwashika wakiwa nje. Hao umewaachia nini?
Haya. Hivyo ndio mambo iko. Kwa hivyo umesema anza na Matiang'i. Mheshimiwa Sankok anasema tuanze.
If they are within our populations and they are now preparing and they are planning for another attack, who is supposed to secure?
Lakini uliona vile former commissioner aliandoliwa jana. Was it proper? I don't know if you saw the video.
Extremely proper.
Ilikuwa sawa hivyo?
Yes. If you behave abnormally, you are supposed to be treated abnormally. Because how does we have Kamiti maximum security prison? Because I've explained to you that there are CCTV cameras all over. When they were digging that hole, do you want to say that it was so quiet that nobody heard of anything that is happening? He actually slept on his job. So that is how criminals are supposed to be handled. Yes, and I expect Matiang'i to be handled the same way. I expect Mutuambei to be handled the same way.
Matiang'i abebwe hivyo. Haya basi, rafiki yako Miguna bado amekuwa tena pale ugaibuni. Alijaribu juzi kuingia Kenya, alisema anaingia wiki na mbwembwe na sarakasi mingi. Lakini sasa amefika pale Ufaransa, akaambiwa maze kuna kitu tu red alert. So Miguna is still hanging out there.
I sympathize with him.
Is he a victim or is just a villain?
I sympathize with him. But nonetheless, him and his brother, Raila Amolo Odinga, committed a treasonable offense. And they should be treated as such. And I want to say, without fear of contradiction, that Raila Odinga, you may have escaped the treasonable charges simply because of that handshake. But in history, it will go down in the history books that you committed a treasonable offense and it must be revisited. It must be revisited. You can't just wake up, swear yourself in when you are a competitor and you lost in the election. You reject the outcome. You are shown the way to go to court. The court nullified the election. They said, okay, there was some technicalities. Let us go back to the battle lot. You refuse to come back to the ballot. So you are no longer a competitor. And then you went ahead and swear yourself in. That is a treasonable offense. So as I sympathize with Miguna, he should know that when he come to Kenya, he is a Kamiti maximum prison character. That is where he belongs. Just as Raila Odinga belongs to Kamiti maximum prison. They committed a treasonable offense with the guy we call, is it CJ Bonoko, the TJ Kadwang. They all belong to Kamiti maximum prison.
But now, why are we punishing Miguna while Raila Odinga is in and is in government? TK Kajwang, the one you're talking about, is around. He's still serving in government.
He have a case.
All these guys are.
He have a case in court.
Okay.
TJ Kajwang have a case in court.
What about the person who took the oath?
The oath. That is where the problem is.
Okay.
Because you know, because of the purported handshake, I don't know what happened. But for me, that is a treasonable offense. Is a Kamiti maximum prison candidate, and this one must be revisited by Kenyans. And I'm sure, even if we go to an election, and by a slim chance, which is very rare, Raila Odinga win the election, I doubt if the army are willing to hand over power to somebody who committed treason. You know, it is clear. Unless then we are in a banana republic where somebody can do whatever they want to do. You remember Raila Odinga's name appeared also in 1982 when there was a purported coup. Yes, he actually ran through Uganda using Lifanguya priest. Yes, using a priest dress code. while we know that he have never even been an altar boy, leave alone being a priest. So he went through Uganda. That one also a treasonable offense. And I don't know why we actually sympathize to some people. You know, when we commit an offense, you face the law. Again, he came and swear himself in. That is another treasonable offense. So Raila have committed now 2 treasonable offense. And I think it is high time we call a spade, not a big spoon. Otherwise, you will find me now contesting for the presidency in 2022. Because I will be defeated, I will go and swear myself in. Because I also have a population behind me. I can bring the 6.5 million Kenyans with disability to Uhuru Park. Yes. And then I'm sworn in as a president. Yes, if that is the trend that we want to have this country go through, you know.
Basi songe hivyo. Haya, pia juzi naibu wa rais last week alikuwa pale Kisumu na kukaona mchafuko kidogo pale Kondele.
Mungu wangu.
Bitok, what trend do you what do you think?
Bitok, first of all,
yes.
What happened, we must condemn with the strongest term possible. That it was archaic, unpalatable, retrogressive, and unacceptable. That at this era, in time, of our democracy, we can still have people who believe kurusha mawe ndio demokrasia. We still believe that there is people who can say that the deputy president cannot address a rally in such a place. And it was even worse when the Inspector General of Police, through the spokesperson, came out and said, wali advise naibu wa rais ya kwamba pale kulikuwa na shida kidogo, kwa hivyo naibu wa rais askip hiyo mkutano. Yani mimi nataka kukuuliza jameni, askari yetu polisi wakiongozwa na mtu ambei, yani kwa sababu kuna watu wa kurusha mawe pale Kondole, naibu wa rais asikanyange pale, inamaanisha ya kwamba hivi leo wakijua ya kwamba intelligence kuna wakora wanakuja, robbers wanakuja kwa boma yangu, wataniambia hama,
usiende nyumbani.
No, hama hiyo boma. Ama usiende nyumbani leo, kuna robbers wenye wanakuja. What are they supposed to do? It is to secure our country. Walikuwa supposed kujua ya kwamba kuna watu wachache ambao kutakuwa na furugu ya kurusha mawe. Wahakikisha ya kwamba security ya deputy president is guaranteed by the constitution. Lakini hao waliambia ati the only advice we can give you, we cannot protect you. Wewe skip the meeting. If they cannot protect the whole deputy president, what about you Bitok? What about hii kijana yetu? What about mwananchi wa kawaida? Are you sure you can be protected by this government? If mtu ambei, after getting the intelligence report ya kwamba kuna furugu pale Kondele, kutakuwa na furugu pale Kondele, kama hawezi to protect from stone throwing characters, how are we sure he can protect us from terrorists whose tool of trade is bombs, whose tool of trades are missiles? How are we sure that they can protect us? You know, by the way, the president, His Excellency, by that statement of the Inspector General of Police, I expected him to be home already. Because today, Your Excellency, the president, if you are to visit Lamu, and you are told kutakuwa na furugu pale, kwa hivyo, Your Excellency, usijaribu kwenda huko. And we expect you to heed that advice. Na hatujaambiwa ati kutakuwa na terrorist, tutakuwa na mtu wenye atazarusha mawe. Na ya kwamba the police wetu askari hawezi to protect from stone throwing characters. What about the missile shooting characters of Al-Shabaab? What about the grenade shooting characters of Al-Shabaab and terrorists? How are we confident that they can protect us? That is why hata prison inaburikiwa tu na wanatoka tu na wanatembea tu freely. That is why walishindwa kushika mama mmoja mwenye aliuana mpaka kaenda kujua. Kama angejua angeendelea tu kuuana. We are no longer having confidence with our security agencies. That is a fact. And then lastly, unajua lazima tuangalie historia. Because normally history, the past, is like a mirror to reflect into the future. lazima tuangalie history yetu ndio tujue pale tunaelekea. Hiyo fracas ya Kondole were expected. In fact, as the Tangatanga wing and the Hustler movement, we expected that lazima tukienda Kisumu kutakuwa na fracas kidogo. Not because of the good people of Nyanza. Not because of the good people of River Lake Nilotes, but it is because of the poor leadership from that area, who is headed by the single denominator of violence in the Republic of Kenya, in the name of Raila Odinga. Angalia past ya Raila Odinga. He have been having a career of violence. Unasikia? 1982 alitaja kwa kuu. I was just 4 years old. Walikuwa wanataka kuangusha serikali ya Moi. In 1997, Raila Odinga ndiye alisoma ile statement ya rejection of the outcome of election. Na pia tukapigana kwa sababu ya post-election violence. In 2007, Raila alitumia literally daraja ya maiti kupata position ya prime minister, na baada akaenda complain pale mambo ya mikate, mambo ya mikeka na even choo. Na akacomplain na kuna choo. Unajua wewe, mimi nikiandaa mkutano naangalia pale inzi inatoka, alafu nafuata pole napata pale ya kujisaidia.
Lakini pia si alikuwa na haki ya kuweza.
In 2013 yes, yeye akakataa pia matokeo ya uchaguzi na tukapigana pia. In 2017 akatuzungusha kama Marinda, akaenda kujiapisha treasonable offense, tukauana tu. Unasikia? So hata 2013 alikuwa anataka ndugu zetu wanyongee huko Hague ndiye apate kupenya katikati kwa sababu ya his thirst for power and his career in violence. Unasikia? And if you want to know, it is true what I'm talking about. When the name of Raila Odinga miss in the ballot box, there will be no violence. In 2002, the name Raila Odinga was not in the ballot box. So he was neither a loser or a winner. There was no violence. It was a transition. Moi gracefully accepted that his project, Uhuru Kenyatta, was defeated. And Uhuru Kenyatta was honorable enough with William Ruto to come out and say, we accept the outcome of the election. And we had a very peaceful transition. If you want came to know that Raila is the single denominator of violence, when he greeted Kibaki in the purported handshake of 2008, what happened? Tukatulia. So nani alikuwa anafanya tupigane? In 2017, 2018, when again he greeted Uhuru in the purported again under another handshake, tukawacha resist, tukawacha NRM, tukawacha kuuana. So who was causing all this chaos in Kenya? It was the single denominator of violence in the name of Raila Odinga. So let us be frank. Na tuambie Raila Odinga, hii yote damu yote tumemwaga kwa sababu yako. Surely, from 1982, 1997, 2007, 2013, 2017, hii damu yote tumemwaga kwa sababu yako. Kwa sababu tunataka kuwe kiongozi. Tosheka nayo. Sema tu, you know, sometimes you have to swallow your pride. You know, na useme, hii damu imekuwa mingi. Yes, enye imemwagwa kwa ajili yangu. And I'm not the only Kenyan. Wacha leo tuone kama Kalonzo wakishindana, useme tu Kalonzo tosha, venye ulisema Kibaki tosha, washindane na Ruto, tuone kama tutatulia kama 2002 wakati Uhuru alishindana na Kibaki. Yes, badala sasa wewe ukuje na tuuane tena. In fact, sometimes hata wewe mwenyewe utaweza tuenda useme, hii imekuwa too much. Hii damu yote na ni kwa sababu ya mtu mmoja. You know, before 1982, hatujai mwaga damu tena Kenya. In the election after that, hatukumwaga damu. Tunamwaga tu damu wakati jina la Raila Odinga iko kwa ballot.
But do you think that's a fair statement? Do you think that's a fair
statement?
Yes,
very fair. Because nataka kukuuliza, unataka kuniambia kutoka 1997 wakati alisoma the rejection of the outcome of the election despite the fact it was a distant 5. Unataka kuniambia Raila amekuwa akishinda throughout. Unataka kuniambia Raila hajaishindwa kwa election yoyote? Because hakuna election ya Raila ameshaikubali. So unataka kuniambia hajaishindwa?
Labda hajaishindwa.
Hata Uhuru Kenyatta mwenyewe alishindwa. Hata Moi mwenyewe ameshindwa.
Labda hajaishindwa.
My friend.
Haya, jana pia kuna
wacha ya mwisho. Na ni mzuri tujue. Nimesikia Raila anapanda mlima, nimesikia Raila akiambia watu yeye ni mtu wa demokrasi, ndiye amepigania demokrasia yenye tuko katika nchi ya Kenya. Wacha niwaeleze leo wa Kenya. Na tusikize vizuri. Na let us accept the truth. Let us not say a spade is a big spoon. Kama kuna familia ambao imesumbua marais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, ni familia tu ya Raila Odinga.
Lakini kwa nini msimshinde? Kwa nini usimshinde kwa debe? Kwa sababu unajua mkifoka sana kupiga Raila.
25 mwezi wa 10 1969, Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of the Republic of Kenya, alirushiwa mayai imeoza huko Kisumu na kwa kuwa na furugu. Na unajua alienda huko Kisumu kufanya maendeleo, kufungua the new Nyanza Professional Hospital. Baba ya Raila Odinga akamsumbua mpaka akaenda form another chama ya kikabila inaitwa KPU, Kenya People's Union, ambao ni chama ya kikabila, akimsumbua tu. Kama kuna mtu mwenye amesumbua the second president of the Republic of Kenya, Moi, ni Raila Odinga. 1982 akajaribu kuangusha yeye. Baadaye akaleta kachama yake ya kikabila inaitwa NDP. Hadi na maji na KANU. Alafu anakuja kutuambia NDP ilikuwa tinga na tinga ikamezwa na kuku. Kuku tinga haikusimwa, sasa ikatoka na mara na matumbo na maini kutoka kwa jogoo. Akasumbua the late President Moi mpaka akakuwa the secretary general ya KANU. Unasikia? Akasumbua Moi akakula akili the second president of the Republic of Kenya. Kama kuna mtu mwenye alisumbua the third president of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki, ni Raila Odinga. Hata wakati alisema Kibaki tosha, hakuwa anasema Kibaki tosha kwa sababu anapenda Kibaki. Alisema Kibaki tosha as kumkasirisha Moi. Kwa sababu Moi wakati NDP ilimezwa, alimwambia Uhuru ndio mimi na trust yatakuwa president. Akatoka huko na hasira ya Moi ya kujaribu kumpunish Moi, akasema Kibaki tosha. Sio ati kwa sababu anampenda Kibaki. Na siku hizi anaenda kujigamba ati alikuwa anapenda Kibaki. Anapenda Kibaki namna gani? Na kama kuna mtu mwenye amesumbua Kibaki ni yeye. Alimsumbua mpaka ile referendum ya ndizi na chungwa. Alimsumbua Kibaki mpaka akasema ati ile Uhuru yani Thika super highway inajengewa kabila moja. Alisumbua Kibaki mpaka akasema akacoin the political genocide mantra of 41 against 1. Kama kuna mtu 2007 akatumia daraja ya maiti kupata nusu mkate kwa hiyo serikali ya Kibaki. Na sasa kama kuna mtu mwenye amesumbua tena huyu rais, the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, ni Raila. Kama Raila ameenda kujiapisha, Uhuru akiwa kitini. Yani kama kuna mtu mpaka resist, mpaka sijui NRM, sijui nini, kama kuna mtu amesumbua all the presidents of the Republic of Kenya, ni hii familia tu ya Jaramogi Odinga. Ukianzia baba ya Raila na Raila mwenyewe.
Haya, sawa. Kuna matamshi pia ambayo ulisema kuhusu wale wasichana ambao wanafanya kazi huko Middle East. Ulisema nini?
Nilisema ya kwamba 99% of our immigrant workers in the Middle East are very good people. Excellent people. Some of them are professionals. Some of them are domestic workers. Some of them are company laborers. And they are doing excellent and they are doing good job. And their remittances is now higher than any other part or in the world. And again, they are taking care of their families. They are educating their children through what they are earning in the Middle East. But there are few 1% of the population who are wenye wanatuharibia jina huko Middle East. Na nikueleze vizuri, huko Middle East, especially Saudi Arabia, if you go with a contract, you don't pay anything. Unalipiwa ndege, ile recruiting agency yako inalipua pesa, na wale Saudi, wale Waarabu, wanakupeleka huko. Wanakugharamikia karibu 500,000 ili uende ufanye kazi pale. Sasa kumekuwa na Wakenya wachache, wampofu, wakora, watapeli, ambao wameenda huko wakajiita dalala. Hao dalala ni wala ambao wamejikoalesce ili waweze kuinsight Wakenya wasiende kwa official contract. Sasa wakati ambao umeenda pale, unainsaitiwa kwamba hapo utaambiwa uoshe nyoka, utafanyishwa kazi ngumu, au utapatiwa time, utafanywa nini, bas unatoroka. Wanaitwa kemboi, wala wasichana ambao wanatoroka. Wakishatoroka kutoka kwa official contract, you become illegal. Or you are illegally in Saudi Arabia. The moment you become illegal, then you cannot access matibabu katika hospitali, uwezi access bank, uwezi access hata kukomboa nyumba, kwa sababu everything there is digitalized. Ya kwamba ukitaka kukomboa nyumba lazima ukuwe na kitu inaitwa angama. Angama ni ile ya kuonyesha kwamba you are legally working there, the work permit. So the moment huyu msichana wetu amekimbia, anakuwa vulnerable. Sasa wale wakora wanaitwa dalala, wanamchukua, wanamwambia sisi ndio tutakukombolea nyumba, sisi ndio tutakutafutia kazi. Sasa kukombolea nyumba wanatumia hao kwa umalaya, kwa usharati, ili waweze kulipa hii nyumba. Na huyu msichana wetu victim ambao ni vulnerable, akianza kusema sitaki hii kazi ya umalaya, na wanafanyishwa na Wakenya, wanaambiwa bas wewe tutakustaki ushikwe kwa sababu you are illegally here. So kuna wale makatels ambao wanafanya usharati huko, kwa kutumia Wakenya ambao wametoroka kwa official contract. Let me ask you a question. Wakati ambao nilitoa hiyo statement, nilifanya intentionally, nikaweka a few minutes to midnight, na nikatoa kabla ya asubuhi, na ikaenda viral. Na hao watu wanasema sisi ni slaves, tunafanyishwa utumwa huko Middle East, tunanyang'anywa masimu. Na ukiona ile videos zenye walikuwa na fanya, ama ukiona venye hiyo kitu imeenda viral, imeenda viral because they have free wifi, they have smartphones. Yes, na ukiona hata uso, wengi wao wamejibleach, wengi wao wanatumia cosmetics, wengi wao hata wamefaa gold. Tell me, surely hata kama wewe bitok, ukiwa na akili timamu, is a slave accessible to smartphone? Is a slave accessible to free network, free wifi? Is a slave accessible to bleaching chemicals, cosmetic, expensive more than what your wife use? Let me tell you, my friend, there is cartels in the Middle East. Kenyans hata wanatengeneza mpaka changaa huko. Kuna madrivers, long distance drivers, enye wao ndio wanatorokesha wasichana kutoka kwa official contracts, na wakisha toroka they become vulnerable. That is what I said, and I will say it again and I will say again, because watu 1% wa Kenya wapotofu hawezi haribia all the other Kenyans nafasi ya kazi ambayo imetokezea, yet our government is not able to create enough jobs back home. They are going there kwa sababu ya mashida, na wanaenda huko kwa sababu ya matabu. In fact, some of them will tell you, ukiwa kwa official contract you don't make enough money. Ukiwa Kemboi, yani ukiwa illegally here, you can make more money. Yes, we know. Hata biashara ya banki, we make more money than the normal business ya kuuza hii sweet tunda. But why do you decide to sell sweet tunda rather than banki? Because banki is an illegal business. So they are proud of doing illegal business rather than doing the legal business.
So you have no apologies to make.
Alafu kuna pia wale recruitment agencies ambao wanaangalia pesa tu peke yao. Kwa hivyo what they do ni kujaribu kutafuta as many people as possible without checking at the quality. They check at the quantity. Kwa sababu ukituma mtu mmoja unapata 500,000. So unataka kutuma watu 100 ndio upate 50 million, badala ya kuangalia quality. Are these people qualified? Unajua hata hapa nyumbani wewe umeajiri house help wangapi? Wengi sana. Wengine ni vichwa ngumu kuliko bibi ya lot. So at least because they are going to become our ambassadors out there, lazima tu vet, tuhakikisha wenye wanaenda ni watu ambao wataweza kuwa our ambassadors out there, ndio watafutie wengine nafasi ya kazi. Lastly, let me ask you. There is no case of death of a man in Saudi Arabia. Ama wewe umeshaisikia?
Bado sijasikia.
There is no case of molesting or of any problem with professional workers. Why only house help? Why? You know, you have to ask yourself that question. And why only ladies? You know, we have to be sincere and we have to be genuine so that we solve some of these issues. Alafu tena nakwambia, Mwarabu amelipa 500,000 ukupeleka huko. Wewe hiyo pesa yake unataka ienda aje? Kwa sababu ndege umeingia, huku jilipia ulilipiwa. Sasa huyu ukifika kwa airport, unatoroka kwa airport, unataka huyu apate pesa yake kutoka wapi? So we have to be genuine among ourselves and speak the truth. I still insist that recruitment agencies must be vetted afresh. Na any Kenyan going to the Gulf must have what we call pre-departure training. Pre-departure training is not training you on how to go and make bed. Because hata Kwani unaenda kutengeneza Mwarabu kitanda? Si hata hiyo tunakufanya ukue vulnerable. Lazima tukutrain on the culture of huko.
Okay.
It is an Islamic nation. Lazima ujue ya kwamba wamama wanatakiwa kufunika kichwa. Yes? Wamama wanatakiwa kufanya hivi. Wazee wanatakiwa kufanya hivi. We must train them on the do's and don'ts. Kwa sababu ukienda, if you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. Lazima pia tuwa train on the laws in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
In the laws of the Gulf. Ya kwamba hii nchi yenye unaenda, sheria yake sio constitution ya Kenya. Hii constitution, katiba ya Kenya unawachia hapa. Huko sheria yao ni hivi na hivi. Na lazima uende ufuate hiyo sheria. Kuna Wakenya huko. Walienda mpaka, kwa sababu hawa wasichana wakisha insaitiwa watoroke, they become vulnerable, hata hawezi access hospitali. Kuna wengine wameenda kujifanya madaktari. Kuna mmoja saa hizi ako ndani ya jela ya Saudi Arabia kwa sababu alisalisha msichana wa Kenya mwenye alijaribu kuzaa na msichana akakufa, wakamfungia kwa nyumba. Huyo mtoto hata sijui kama ameshafika Kenya. Na wakati walimfungia, what happened? Walitafuta na CCTV wakapata ni Mkenya ndiye alikuwa anamsalisha, ambao hana qualification ya kuwa midwife na hana qualification ya kuwa daktari. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that are happening there. Na if you are a criminal outside our country, you are also a criminal inside our country.
So
we
no
will
apologies.
not tell you that ati wewe ni mzuri kama umeenda kufanya.
So you have no apologies to make.
If you are doing prostitution, I will say it is illegal, because it is illegal in Kenya, it is illegal in Saudi Arabia. Prostitution is illegal. Na wala ambao wanakasirika nikisema wewe unafanya umalaya, kama wewe ufanye umalaya, shida yako iko wapi? You are just showing the signs of somebody who is guilty, because I said 1%. So
okay.
Check yourself. Are you within the 1%? If you are not within the 1%, you don't have any reason to complain.
Okay, sawa. Jana rais amepitisha sheria jana, amesema kwamba mipango ya kando hawana haki kwa mali ya marehemu. Ya kwanza pia wanasema kwamba kama huko umeoleka, mtoto sio sign, ama mtoto akili, a child is not a proof of marriage. You have to have a marriage certificate. They have also said if you separated with someone, they cannot come back to demand wealth from you. Is it an affront against women? I said it in
the floor of the House.
Yes.
And I really support Kaluma. And I thank my president for...
But why is it that it's Kaluma who always pushes these bills?
Listen, my friend. I support it. And I said in the floor of the House, if as a man, he hated you while he's alive, he still hate you in death. Okay. Don't come and claim. If I hated you in life, I also hate you in death. So, what is the claim? And then, we have to control these issues. Because kuna watu wengi ambao wametumia watoto kama begging tools. Chombo cha kuomba. Kuna wengine wametumia watoto as blackmail, as baits. Unasikia? Let me give you a very good example. Bitoko. Kutaweza kuwa na msichana mwenye yeye hataki kufanya kazi. Anataka tu pesa ya bure. So anaamua wanaume ndio watakuwa supermarket yake. So what she will do is very simple. Kuangalia wakati ambao she can get pregnant. Unajua in that circle. Na kuhakikisha kwamba amelala na Bitoko, amelala na hii kijana mwingine, amelala na mheshimiwa fulani, amelala na mwingine pale. During that time, within that 1 week, ambao she can get pregnant. When she get pregnant from any of them, now atakuwa akakupigia wewe simu. Niko na mtoto wako na nitakupeleka kotini. Unamwambia nyamaza. Anakuambia basi tuma upkeep. Wewe unatumana. Mwingine anaambiwa, mwingine anaambiwa. Unakuta msichana mwanamke ako na sponsors 10. Kila mtu ana sponsor the same one child. Unatumana kwa sababu hutaki hii maneno ijulikane. Unatumana 20,000, mwingine anatumana 200,000 kulingana na uwezo, mwingine anatumana 1,000. Msichana ana earn 1 million in a month without working. Yes, kwa sababu ya katoto. Na wewe Bitoko ukienda pale, ukiangalia kale katoto ni mweupe na wewe ni mweusi. Lakini anakuambia unajua, hii mtoto kisogo inafanana na yeye kabisa. Unajua hujaijiona hii upande ya kisogo. Anakuambia hii mtoto ukiangalia upande ya nyuma, akienda upande
ni wewe kabisa.
Wewe tu kabisa. Sasa hii ni yako hata proof. There is no way. Sasa nyinyi wote mnatumana. So kuavoid hii wakora. Kwa sababu hata hiyo ni ukora. Yes, it's so simple. The bill is very straightforward. Okay.
Can you outline the bill?
The child have all parents have 50-50% right
on the child.
Responsibility on the child. So kama uko na mtoto wangu na hauna uwezo wa kutekea, lete mimi ni
Sheria inasema hivyo.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo pia wanaume wanaweza pewa custody.
Lete hii mtoto mimi niende nayo. Nimlee. Lakini usiniitishe pesa. Kwa sababu unaniitisha pesa, unaenda kutumia na vijana wako Ben 10. Sasa wewe bwana ndugu yangu, nitoe pesa uende utumie na Ben 10. Alafu tena, let me tell you. Hii mama ako na watoto 5. All from different fathers. Mwingine amezaliwa na Muhindi, mwingine amezaliwa na Masai, mwingine amezaliwa na Jaluo, mwingine amezaliwa na Kikuyu. Yote wako ndani ya hiyo nyumba. So mimi nikitumia ile yangu. Yes. Hii pesa ni ya ile yangu chakula ama utapatia wengine. Hii nyumba yenye nimelipa huyu mtoto wangu tu peke yake ndiye analala ama inalalwa na Ben 10. Wale vijana wako wenye unakuja kufanya nao usharati ama inalalwa na wale watoto wengine wamesaliwa na. Sasa mimi nilipe nyumba alafu shifters wakuja walale wote, wengine hata ni boyfriends, wengine ni watoto wenye wamezaliwa. Let me tell you. Wamama lazima pia tukue straightforward. Yes, in fact hata hii maneno bado tunaenda kurekebisha pia vitu ya chapter 6. Siku hizi wewe bitoko ukipatikana umezaa mtoto nje, wamama wote wanakuja kwako, wanakuambia integrity sijui nini questionable vitu kama hizo. Na sisi hatujauliza hawa mama. Wewe hujaolewa na saa zingine hujaolewa kwa sababu ya kukosa bwana, na that is genuine. Saa zingine hujaolewa kwa sababu bwana yako alikufa, so you are a widow. Hiyo is understandable. Wengine hujaolewa kwa sababu wewe ni kichwa ngumu. Yes, umekataa kuolewa. Lakini we have to ask you, wakati una contest pia, wacha tuangalia watoto wenye uko nao. Because they are not born by the Holy Spirit. Hao watoto wenye uko nao, baba yao ni mmoja. Unasikia? Pia DNA ifanywe. So that tuone, are they from one quarter? Kwa sababu ukipata mtoto, mwingine ni Kikuyu, mwingine ni Jaluo, mwingine amezaliwa na Muhindi, mwingine amezaliwa na nani. Unajua, you have a character of a cow. Unajua hii ng'ombe yangu hata saizi nimeshahamisha kupeleka Masai Mara. Mimi nimesikia ndume zote itakuja na mbegu ya ndume au pandio. Nikipeleka Tanzania inarudi na mbegu ya ndume au. Na hiyo ndio inaleta hata hii social fabric ikatike kwa sababu just a small example. Wewe uko na shamba. Kama mama. Na ndani ya hiyo shamba yako umeweka water pan, yani dam pale ndani. Ule mtoto mwenye amezaliwa na Kikuyu, yeye atajaribu kutumia hiyo maji kufanya irrigation. Yes? Na ule mwenye amezaliwa na Masai, ataleta ng'ombe 1000.
Aweke hapo.
Na itakula hii shamba ya huyu mwenye amezaliwa na Mkikuyu. Na ule mwenye amezaliwa na Jaluo, ataweka samaki. Lakini ile acid ya ile makojo ya ng'ombe 1000 ikikuja kunywa maji, inachoma ile samaki, inakufa. Hii mwenye amezaliwa na Muhindi anataka kuweka package hii maji kama mineral water. Lakini sasa iko na makojo ya ng'ombe, iko na uchafu ya samaki, sasa inakuwa ni ngumu kupackage. Na ule mzungu mwenye amezaliwa na mzungu labda anataka kuanalyze scientifically, kuona the composition of hii maji. Anakuta chemicals ile ambao ule mwenye anafanya irrigation inarudi mto. So hawa watoto wanapigana. Wakishapigana wanatoka nje. Wakishatoka nje wanapatikana huko na Al-Shabaab, Shingororo, Baghdad Boys, Mungiki. That is what is bringing this issue of social fabric being eroded. So we ask also our ladies, if you are not married, just be specific so that you have one DNA, so that all watu kama ni watu wa kisirani wakae peke yao wacha kulete, kwa sababu kilete yeye wingi hata inakuwa toxic, hata inasumbua wewe. So the bill is so simple.
Can you outline the bill for
it protect the bill first?
It protects everyone, it protects only.
It protects the children first.
Okay. How does it protect the children?
Ya kwamba huyu mtoto will not be used as a begging tool. Okay. This child, all the parents, both of them, have 50% share in terms of responsibility. So kama wewe uwezani na mtoto kutake care of mtoto, utaweza mpelekea mzee achunge mtoto.
Kwa hivyo pia baba wako na uwezo custody, wako na custody.
Unajua zamani ilikuwa ati mama ndiye atakaa naye mpaka afike 18, lakini wewe unatumana naye pesa, unatumana na inaenda kukuliwa na other shifters. Ya pili ni ya kwamba ukiwa na mtoto is not a certificate of marriage. Kumaanisha ukiwa na mtoto wangu, yes, is not a certificate that nimekuoa. Niko na bibi yangu na huyo according to inheritance bills ama acts, yeye ndiye atani inherit. Wewe mwenyewe uko pia na uhuru ya kwenda kuolewa somewhere else. Usiseme uko na mtoto yangu sasa nimekufungia hutaiolewa somewhere, na labda mlipata watoto mkiwa secondary school ama mkiwa primary school. Kwa hivyo hata ina protect wa mama ili wakiwa na watoto wanaume wasisikuje kuclaim huyu ni bibi yangu. Ataanza kuolewa na wewe ukiona mtoto wako anateswa, kuja chukua mtoto wako, peleka bali unataka kupeleka, lakini patia huyu mama freedom ili pia akuwe na jamii na yeye pia aendelee na jamii yake. Hiyo ndio ya pili. Ya tatu ni ya kwamba if we have separated, tumewachana na wewe kwa sababu ya njia moja ama nyingine. Sasa nikikufa unatakia nini mali yangu? If sikuwa nakupatia nikuwa hai. If I hated you in life, I hate you in death. So kama nimeshakufa, hatuna mtu wa kumuuliza hii mali inaenda kwa nani? Hii mali inaenda kwa huyu mama mwenye ameolewa. So this bill protect wa mama ambao they are morally upright. Wala ambao wako kwa familia yao, wamefumilia. Imagine za hizi bitoko. Bibi yako amefumilia kuwa na wewe. Hii miaka yote. Labda hata unamchapa. Labda hata unampigia kelele. Lakini amekubali kukaa na wewe na kuishi na wewe. Yes? Baada ya wewe kukufa, ile mali ambayo mmetafuta na yeye. Kuna kasichana accidentally tu mlikutana college na ukaweka yeye mimba. Akuja aseme sasa hii mali inagawanywa mara 2. Ile hali wewe mlitafuta na huyu mama na huyu mama amefumilia. So this bill protect morally upright women. Okay. Otherwise utapata mwanamke ako na watoto 5. So anagawa mali ya bwana ya kwanza, mshahara, mali ya huyu, anagawa mshahara ya huyu. Sasa yeye atakuwa na mshahara kiasi gani bila kufanya kazi? Akigawa mali ya watu 5 na wale na hii ni takataka. Huyu ni somebody who is not morally right. Na ndio sababu ameshika huyu, akashika huyu, akashika huyu. Sasa ule mwenye amekuwa morally upright, we are punishing them. So this bill protect them. This bill will not punish the morally upright. If anything, it will punish these masle queens wenye wanaoga mara 5 kwa siku.
Kwani mtu anafaa kuoga mara ngapi?
Wenye wanajipaka cosmetic na wenye wanafaa miniskirt na nguo tayari kujitangaza tayari kwa usharati. Hao sasa ndio hii bill iwezi wa protect. Yes.
Haya. Sawa, jana pia kumekuwa na mdosi pale kutoka Amerika. Amekuja amesema kwamba ameambia rais ya kwamba hakikisha kwamba uchaguzi wa mwaka 2022 ama 2022 elections will reflect the will of the people. He also warned against terror attacks. What do you think?
Kwanza nataka kumshukuru
State Secretary Anthony Blinken.
Yes, Anthony, we have to thank him. I think he's on behalf of his President Biden, and America have a long time cordial relationship with Kenya, and we want to say that the relationship will just go on and will continue. Kwa hivyo we support him, the will of the people. Yes, and that is what, as the Hustler Nation, we have always been saying. We have been saying they have the system, we have the citizen. We have been saying they have deep state, we have God. It is the will of the people who will elect their president, because Article 1 of our Constitution give sovereign power to the citizen of this country. They can only delegate that sovereignty to the elected people that they elect using a free and fair election. Kwa hivyo, Anthony, the Secretary of State from America, have just stated the fact and the obvious that we have been stating as the Hustler Nation. Kwa hivyo sisi hatuogopi. We are sure we will go into the election of 2022 and God willing we will form the next government and that the will of the people will be respected. And I want to tell you, whether they are advised by America or they are advised by who, nataka kuhakikishia sisi kama Hustler Nation, haki ya Mungu hata kura moja haiwezi ibwa kutoka kwetu. Okay. Kama wanaweza kuiba kwa vijana wenye hawajatahiri, sisi mimi sijataja mtu, nimesema sisi asasala hatuwezi nyang'anywa kura hata moja. Okay. And I can assure you, venye tulichunga kura yetu Msombweni, venye tulichunga kura yetu Kiambaa, venye tulichunga kura yetu Juja, ndio tutachunga kura yetu in 2022. And citizen of this republic will be rest assured that mkikuja make decision in the ballot box, we will respect the decision that you will make. Kama tukishindwa kama hustlers, sisi hatuna shida, tutakubali na tutaenda nyumbani. Lakini tukishinda hata na kura moja, hakuna mtu ataweza nyang'anya sisi hiyo kura. That is the assurance I want to give to the citizens of this country. Nyinyi mpige kura in 2022. Muamke tu, mkishapiga kura, rudi nyumbani. Maintain peace. Be lovely to your neighbors. Wachia sisi tuchunge kura yetu. Tulichunga Msambweni, tulichunga Kiamba, tulichunga Juja, hata 2022 tutachunga kura yetu. No man born of a woman can take a single vote from us. That is an assurance I can tell. And I can give. Hiyo hata siogopi, hata sibanduki. Unaona? Nitapatiana hii assurance during day, during night, anytime, 24/7 ya kwamba kura yetu tuko na uhakika ya kuchunga.
Okay.
Na hii kitu wanaita sijui deep state ama system. Wazee atikwenda kukaa pale na kuamua. Let me ask those who believe in deep state and system. Where was deep state in 2002 when the project of the late President Moi was defeated? Okay. And the head of hiyo deep state na system ambaye alikuwa anaitwa Sally Koskei alilia machozi. Deep state gani na toa machozi? Where was deep state in Msambweni? Where was deep state in Kiamba? Where was deep state in Juja? Where was deep state when Trump was defeated in America? Yet that is a superpower. Sasa nyinyi mnakuja kutuambia deep state. Deep state, I want to ask Kenyans, don't trust this thing called deep state. Because deep state ni proverbial ghost. Unakumbuka Bitok ukiwa mdogo. What was your parents telling you?
Kuna nyangao kula ama tuite nyangao.
Enda ulale
ama tuite nyangao.
Ama tuite nyangao. Ama tuite ghost. Ukule ama tuite ghost. Hata wewe ukaambia watoto wako hivyo. Is there anybody who have ever seen that ghost?
Bado sijaona.
Hujaiona? Deep state is that proverbial ghost. It does not exist anywhere. Yes. Kwa sababu ukiingia ndani ya serikali, kwa nataka kusema hakuna watu wana believe in hustler nation. In fact most of them they are hustlers.
Okay.
Yes, hata wale ambao wako ndani ya serikali, hata wale wenye wako intelligent, wale wako NIS, wale wako askari wetu polisi, wengi ni hustlers.
Okay. Haya, basi bunge la mwananchi iko wazi, nambari ni 0779-800-010. Bunge la mwananchi iko wazi 0779-800-010. Bunge la mwananchi liko wazi, nambari ni 0779-800-010. Unaweza piga simu kuweza kuchangia kwenye mazungumzo ya leo, nambari ni 0779-800-010. Bunge la mwananchi is open 0779-800-010. Haya, Kibicho amesema they will not stop doing campaigns and politics. Amesema mtafute wembe mmeze ama akona kamba atawapea kamba mwene mjinyonge.
Unajua hiyo kiburi tuliona in 2007. Yes? Na hiyo kiburi iko na mwisho yake. Okay. And let me tell you. Hiyo kama kuna mtu mwenye alikuwa na kiburi zaidi kwa hiyo ulimwengu ni shetani. Lakini alirushwa huko mbinguni akakuja huko ulimwenguni. Sasa anatusumbua hapa. So hiyo kiburi yako ni kiburi yenye tunaita ni malaika wa giza. Kwa sababu wakati Yesu alikuwa anashikwa na wale watu kwenda kusulubiwa, aliwauliza, mnakuja kwangu usiku wa manane, mnakuja kwangu na silaha asif mimi ni mkora, ili hali nimekuwa na nyinyi mchana kwa synagogues na mjai nishika. Kwa hivyo hata leo deputy president anauliza, nimekuwa naibu wa rais kwa miaka 9. Wakati hiyo yote nimekuwa na nyinyi. Hamuku nikataza kwenda Uganda. Hamuku nitukana wale ma juniors ambao tumewapatia kazi serikalini. Kwa nini ni saa hizi ndio mnaanza kunitukana mpaka mnaniita clerk? Mpaka mnaniambia enda umeze wembe. Ni kwa sababu hii ndio wakati wa malaika wa giza kutawala. Kwa sababu Yesu aliwaambia hivyo ya kwamba hii ndio wakati wa malaika wa giza kutawala, wakati wale wakora walikuja kumshika. Kwa hivyo hata nao tunawaambia hii ndio wakati wa malaika wa giza inatawala. Wakati wa malaika wa mwangaza inakuja. Our time is coming. Okay. You have had your time. It's okay.
So mezi wembe.
No problem.
Hauta meza wembe.
Meza wembe gani? Kama wananchi ndio wanaamua, kwani yeye ndiye anaamua? Utuache hii kupiga kifua. Kama ni kuomba kura, omba kura pole pole. Na tena it is our constitution that said that wale ambao wako katika maofisi ya serikali wasifanye campaign. Unajua kwa nini walisema hivyo? Ni kwa sababu kama sasa wewe uko ndani ya serikali, wewe ni Minister of Roads, na ukiamua kwenda kusimama Kiambu, what will happen? Ile mabarabara yote ambayo ilikuwa inajengwa Mlamu, yenye ilikuwa inajengwa Kisumu, utapeleka Kiambu kwenda kuomba naye kura. Na ndio sababu hao walisema, the drafters of our constitution, wakati unaamua ya kwamba unaenda siasa, wachana na public office, kwa sababu public office have public resources and these resources must be shared equally. But ukiamua kwenda siasa, there is a possibility ukuwe bias towards ule ambao unapendelea. Na ndio sababu ilisemekana hivyo.
Haya, Joel Rama, jambo.
Bwana Bitok.
Mambo?
Mimi niko poa bwana. How are you?
Salama sana, karibu sana dunia hii.
Hii dunia ya leo.
Kunaendaje baba?
My head was spinning over here. Bwana Gerald. Good morning, Bwana SANKOK. SANKOK. I'm sorry, Bwana SANKOK.
Morning.
SANKOK was my landlord when I was in college, so.
Wapi?
Yeah, in Baraton. So,
yes.
So lakini wewe ni Bwana SANKOK, so I need to.
Anaitwa SANKOK.
Yes. Sasa, there are two things I want to correct you, Mheshimiwa, and I don't want to use that term loosely, but it's due to you for your position.
Yes.
The first thing, you were asked a question about the issue of Kondele. And I'm sorry to say, your grasp on security issues is a little bit off mark. And I'll give you an example. 2009, when the then newly elected president was sworn into office, Barack Obama made a trip to California. And where the plane landed, the crowd was in a football stadium, crowds. So he wanted to walk to where the crowd was. But the security detail said, Mr. President, it's 150 yards. Which means you can be taken out by a sniper from where, if you start walking to that crowd, you can be taken out by the sniper. So you have to ride the beast to the crowd where we have control. The work of security detail is to protect their principle. So I will not, in a very big way, I will not condemn what the Commissioner, Inspector General statement, because their work is to advise the security detail of what is the situation on the ground, and their job as security detail is protect their principle. Therefore, you cannot, because you cannot go start beating people anyhow just because umeambiwa kuna watu wanataka kuweka furugu, alafu anza kuchapa kila mtu. That's not how to run a country. That's not how to run a security. If you know there is a threat, you cannot take your principle to a threat situation. That is a failure of being a security detail, period. That I can tell you that. Any person who knows how to run security detail, you cannot do that. So I wanted to make that very clear.
Okay. Now, the other thing, Obama alikatazwa kwenda kwa kiwanja yenye kuna 150,000 people or
no.
Alienda kwa kiwanja.
Alikuwa anataka kutembea kwa mguu kutoka mahali ndege ilisimama kuenda kwa kiwanja. Akaambiwa, Mr. President, is 150 yards. In other words, a sniper can take you out.
Yes.
From 150 yards.
So hakukatazwa kuingia kwa kiwanja.
No.
Sasa sisi tuliadvisiwa tusiende Kondele badala ya kwenda Kondele na tukue secured.
No, Bwana SANKOK. What I'm trying to tell you ni kwamba, when you are advised of a security threat, if the president would have been told, hey, there are people who are going to cause a fracas, immediately he would have been evacuated and put in a plane or the convoy and taken somewhere else. That is the work of security detail. You have to protect your principle because you do not know where the threat is coming from. So in order to avoid that would have been a simple solution. Avoid that area and go somewhere else. You have a right to campaign. You have a right to go wherever you want. But when there is a security threat, then your security becomes priority. And at that point, the principal has no say where it's going to be taken because your security is priority. So that is a failure of the security detail. is not the failure of the police. The police work is to investigate and find out who people who are going to cause a fracas and arrest them, which at that point now, I blame them because up to now, I haven't seen any arrests. If they have done, it's not been in the news. I don't know. So that's that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to address, and I'm glad that you're on this show today, is your trip to Saudi Arabia. And I want to tell you this. I am a Kenyan, although I'm a US citizen now. But when I go introduce myself, somebody asks and I will say, where do you come from? Mm-hmm. I say I come from Kenya. I don't say I come from Molo, where I was raised, where I was born, or I'm a Kisi. No, I say I'm a Kenyan. Mm-hmm. So when you went as a member of parliament to Saudi Arabia and accused your fellow Kenyans of being prostitutes, even if you say there's a 1%, you don't have those statistics, you just throw a number. But all people here is Kenyans are prostitutes. It doesn't matter whether it's 1% or 99%. What you did was blanket every Kenyan in Saudi Arabia or anywhere else as prostitutes. And in that case, you actually do owe the people in Saudi Arabia or Middle East an apology because of your use of words and language that you use. As a leader, you need to be aware of what your statements, implication of your statements to what people hear out there. Because all they see is, when in Kenya, we need to prostitute with your member of parliament. So you need to realize that, and you actually do owe Kenyans an apology on that statement. Now, whether you give that apology or not is up to you. I'll leave that up to you. I'm not going to force you to do it, but I just wanted to let you know that was not good leadership. And by the way, welcome to the taco. This is how we deal with things here. Nambiana ukweli, you give your opinion, I give my opinion, and
yes,
keep moving.
Very true. And your opinion is always well taken. But the issue is that if we want to solve a problem, we must do what we call radical surgery. And at the end of the day, if 1% of our Kenyans are destroying our good name outside there, we'll have to point them out. I will call a spade and not a big spoon. The issue is that let us do investigation and find, because the name Kemboi exists in Saudi Arabia. Who is a Kemboi? Yes. Kemboi is a runaway. A Kemboi is somebody who is illegally there. Kemboi is somebody who is doing an illegal business. Dalala is also there. And Dalala is a name from Kenya because they have gone there and did the wrong things. And if they have done the wrong thing, we'll say that they have done the wrong thing. And it is up to the government of Kenya to make sure that all those who are not in official contract are repatriated back home so that we can send people out there who can be our ambassadors, who can sell a good name for Kenyans so that they can open more doors for more Kenyans. But as I stand, and from where I stand, a Dalala, a Kemboi is a criminal and should be treated as such. All
right. So, Gerald, please allow me to respond to this because I think it's good for us to educate each other and understand what is going on. First, I do not dispute there are people who are criminal elements anywhere in the world. That happens. That is a fact. Okay. Secondly, there are circumstances that people who are actually running away because of the way they are being treated. If one of our participants from India was on this call today, he can give you examples of people who have suffered greatly. Now, when you say the government, I hate to break it to you. You are the government. I've never seen you propose any law or any of your members of parliament propose anything in the parliament to protect our fellow citizens, wherever they are in the world. I'll give you another example. When there was a terrorist threat in Mombasa about 3 or 4 years ago, the government of France, the government of US, Britain evacuated all their citizens at no cost out of Mombasa directly to their next destination, the nearest safest place for them. But here is a Kenyan government. When your citizens are in trouble, unaambia wewe jipange.
Also wrong accusation. Wrong accusation. When you go out there and you see Kenyans as if they are primitive and they don't do anything. For instance, for the members of parliament, we did blacklist all the recruitment agencies. We vetted them afresh, courtesy of what the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare did. Again, during this corona, We also evacuated Kenyans who are in China. You know, we have to say what is true.
At their own cost.
But we have to say what is true.
No,
because
they were at their own cost. So you did not evacuate anybody. They paid their way out. Come on.
You know, one of the Kenyan pilot who actually went there died of corona, who decided that he will face the bullet and bring Kenyans back home. You know, at that time, all the airspaces
I know
were
the
closed.
pilot you're talking about. Yes.
So sometimes, when you are in diaspora, also the people in back home are also working, and you can't say that they are not working, because all the recruitment agencies that were rogued, we denied them license, courtesy of what happened in Parliament. So when you say Parliament is not working at all, it is not making laws, I think it is unfair to the institution of Parliament.
Cite one law that you have passed that prohibits from people being mistreated in Saudi Arabia. Just one.
In fact, we have bilateral agreements, and I can cite the law in which we signed, because it can only be bilateral agreement. We cannot pass our laws in Kenya, and when they become part of our constitution, that constitution will apply in Saudi Arabia. In Qatar, there was this issue that when you go there for your boss, your employee, your employer, you cannot change employment. But that law is nowadays not there. It was called kafara. It is no longer there. We negotiated. It is no longer there. You can go there when you are uncomfortable with your first employer. You can change employees. The recruitment agency in those respective countries can assist you to change to another employer, so that we don't force you where you are not comfortable. So that law it used to be called kafara, and it have been changed. Even in Saudi Arabia, it have been changed, courtesy of the bilateral agreement that were initiated in Parliament.
No, what I'm asking about, I understand you cannot pass a law that governs another country. What I'm asking you about, cite a law that you have passed in Kenya that actually deals with the agencies in Kenya. Blacklisting an agency does not do anything. Have you passed a law that criminalizes somebody is responsible for people who go to Saudi Arabia and go under very harsh conditions? What have you done? I've not seen a law. If there is a law, please.
The law is there, and that anybody who is mistreated in the Gulf or any other country, it is the responsibility of the recruitment agency in Kenya to bring them back. We have also passed a law in which every recruitment agency must pay 150,000 as deposit in case the Kenyan they have sent abroad will get any problem, so that the money can be used to repatriate them back. So the laws are there.
Oh, no, I just wanted to give me just quote one.
That is the law I've told you. That every recruitment agency, during application of license in which they apply every year, they must pay 150,000, which is domiciled in the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare. And also, NITA must give certificates for anybody who is going abroad as an immigrant worker for pre-departure training, so that we avoid culture shock and such things.
Now, which is a good thing. I understand, and I agree with you. People need to be trained where you're going to expect what you're supposed to expect. But what I'm asking is, what laws protect these people when they go out there? When there are rogue agents, we know that. You have said it. There are agencies in the country that are deliberately misleading people. When they get there, they get in trouble, they get in problems. And by the way, one of the other statements you made is you said, and very casual, and not to put you on the spot, but I have to. I wondered, if you have sisters, if you have daughters, how can you give us such a careless statement that, it's only women who are dying in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East? Because
that is the list that we have. We have a list of 81, and the list is only of women. If you go through that list that was brought to us.
Now, here is my question. You know yourself, as an African man, there is no man who is going to come out and tell you he was mistreated. But we know of cases, people who have been mistreated, even men. So once again, I'm pointing to you that some statements you make in public you need to be cognizant of who you are. And the same thing I tell, for example, when I talk to a pastor, I say, Pastor, when you give a statement in public, there are people who believe you are the truth, you are the information bearer, you have all the information, whatever you're saying is the truth and is the fact. So all I'm asking you is sometimes you need to be measured on the way you put out your statements, because you are actually making some people who have gone some horrendous experiences to relieve those traumatic events. There are people who have been treated very badly with their employers, including being raped by the employer, the husband, the son if he has a son, or whoever else in that house, and they have no recourse anywhere. Those are the people you're traumatizing. And I just want you to be aware that sometimes your statement that you are giving is causing more harm to people who have gone through some very bad experiences.
Okay. Asante sana Arama. Now, the president as well has continued with the strategy to continue militarizing the government sectors. We've seen even the prisons have joined the league, right? We saw KEMSA has joined the league on the military line. What do you make of? Is it a dangerous trend or an effective plan? Because people are saying the sectors that have been taken over by the military have reported an upward trajectory in terms of management. Is it
okay? Before I go to that,
okay.
You know, there are cartels within this country and outside the country who are using some emotive videos that may not be authentic to fundraise in the purported reason of repatriating bodies from the Gulf and of assisting people who are trapped in the Gulf. And they pretend to be human rights activists. And they have been collecting money. Let me assure Kenyans that before you do the fundraising, first of all, let us ascertain the cause of that problem. Let us communicate with our Foreign Affairs Ministry. Let us know what happened. Because I know of a single case where the lady came back home after completing the contract, went there on a visit visa, and then she died there. Now, during the time of bringing back the body, and for your information, Bitok, it is the government of Saudi Arabia that pay for anybody that will be brought back home. But so many Kenyans have fallen victims of these cartels who have been fundraising in the purported reason of bringing bodies back home. So there was a delay because the exit visa, they didn't know who to exit from, the dead lady or the lady who have come as a visitor. Because then the name appeared twice. And since everything is digital there was a small delay. In that delay of trying to, first of all, exit the living lady before exiting now the dead one, then Kenyans found fodder for the cartels found fodder now for fundraising in the purported reason that we want to bring that body home, and they really did fundraise. They really did fundraise. And if you ask most of the families, and I sincerely send condolences to them, surely, if you ask them, they have paid large sum of money to these cartels so that their daughters and their relatives can be assisted back in Saudi Arabia. But it never reached to them. Those ladies who are vulnerable in Saudi Arabia, who have run, who are called Kemboi, cannot send money back home. They have to send through dalalas. These dalalas are cartels back there. And there are still cartels who have cartels in Kenya, purporting to be human rights activists, who are fundraising, pretending to be bringing bodies back home, pretending to be assisting those who are trapped in Saudi Arabia and who are in distress in Saudi Arabia. But that one will be rested. I'm sure our spokesperson is Honorable Wachira Kabinga, and there is a report of the committee which is not yet out. Those are my personal statement. Those are my personal views. The committee will bring their own report, and this issue will be solved one and for all. In fact, in this 12th parliament, we have to solve the issue of immigrant workers once and for all. And what I can assure you is that because Kenya cannot be able to assimilate or accommodate all our young men and women who have graduated, we will have to look for work outside, and we will continue having immigrant workers, but guided by law, bilateral agreements, so that they are safe within and outside our country.
Okay.
When it comes to the issue of military taking over institution in government, I don't see any problem. Because if a retired military officer is a Kenyan,
Okay.
they have qualification. Some of them have gone to school, and they have degrees. They have qualification like any other Kenyan, and they are entitled to also be involved in our socio-economic development of our country. So for me, if they are the ones who can perform because of the discipline that they have, then I have no problem with it. Okay. That is why even now I'm saying Kenyans who are supposed to go to abroad should be those who can be able to perform, those who are able to work and be our good ambassadors outside there. So if corruption can end by us having military officers at the helm of most of the institutions, so be it.
Okay. I don't know what views you have, Varama.
Gerald, to some extent I may agree with him, but my biggest concern is the process. Because at the end of the day, we are a nation of laws. One, if an institution is failing, why is that institution failing? Who has been held accountable for the failure?
Okay.
Because all we are doing is just putting a band-aid on a problem. Because are they going to be there for the rest of their life? Are they going to be there permanently? And how are they going to be held accountable? Because these are public institutions. How are we going to hold them accountable? Are they going to be held accountable by Parliament for whatever activities they are doing? For example, I can ask the Member of Parliament if they have ever called in the the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, Ambadi. Have they ever called him to Parliament for auditing, or that is the work of the Senate? Maybe not.
Yes, exactly. You have answered your question because you are asking the question to the wrong person. I'm a member of the National Assembly.
Okay. That's why
county governments are under
part of the Senate. Yes.
Are under Senate. So
yes,
that is under Senate.
Yeah, and that's what I'm asking, because now he's not coming in as a civilian; he's coming under the auspices of the military, which means. Based on the current trends that you guys have, is even the budget for the military is never audited. I've never seen you guys calling them in to explain anything or explaining their budgeting process. Of course, we understand there's things that national security that nobody should know except select people who are supposed to have that information. But for real, you can also say the entire budget of the military is a top secret. That is not realistic. There are some things that need to be accountable. Even here, I see we do have where the members of Congress and Senate, they do have what we call in-camera and public hearings, where there are some things you cannot divulge in public. That's why they hold the in-camera hearings. And then there are some things that they have to explain to the public so that people understand how the military works, because their oversight is by civilians. Now, my problem is and I am not going to say that per se is a bad thing to put a military person in charge, because they have the training, they have the experience on leadership and all that. This is a good thing. But then are they appointed as civilians or are they appointed as military? And that's where the distinction comes in, because once you do that, we are going to go to a slippery slope. And then all of a sudden, we go back to the same problem, because once the money starts disappearing, how do we know they are performing? And how do we know where this money is going and coming from? We don't have any information because nothing is accessible. Even the people who are in charge of those institutions, all they did, they walked away with their retirement packages, and that was the end of it. Nobody has been taken
Gerald,
so
sometimes some statements, we have to be aware of which statements we are making. Okay. Because of the sensitivity of the military, we may not be oversighting the military. But once a military officer is appointed to head a civilian organization, like now, let's assume today we have a military officer who is a person with disability, and then he's retired, and then he is appointed to be the chairman of National Council for Persons with Disability. Then, of course, the National Council for Persons with Disability fall under its parent ministry called the Ministry of Labor, which is oversight by the Labor and Social Welfare Committee of the National Assembly. So I think that one is just as simple as that. It is clear that they will be oversighted as those institutions where they fall into.
Okay. They will be under the institution that are being taken.
I'm not aware of a military officer who is still in military, because I've heard of so and so, a retired military officer and so on. I've not heard any of them who is still an active member of the military being appointed. If it is there, then I think my friend is right that they should not be there. But I've heard of retired. In fact, Parliament, we have a retired Major Bashir as a member of Parliament elected by Kenyans. We have retired Major, around 5 of them, or even 6 of them. So they are there. They are there. Okay. And once they become retired, then they become civilians. And when they are civilians, they are Kenyans. You can't deny them job opportunities. There are military who are doctors. So you can't tell me that a doctor who is a military cannot be employed in Kenyan National Hospital. He cannot. They can be employed. They can also have their own private clinics once they are no longer in the military.
Haya. Sawa. Naona pia kuna nia ametujoin Ambassador Alfred Surgeon. Good morning. Or is it evening there? Naona leo ni tackles after tackles. Jambo Ambassador.
Jambo, habari gani?
Salama sana boss. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yourselves?
All right, we well. Talk to us, sir.
I just joined in, so I'm following in. But I just wanted to ask Mheshimiwa, and you might have discussed that earlier. When they went to, I guess, the Middle East and the Gulf the other day, did they come in with recommendations? Have they sat down? Did they come in with recommendation on what is the way forward? Am I require a picture too, or what was the issue?
Of course, the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare, headed by Honorable Kabinga Wadhayo from Mwea, is still holding some inquiries because, of course, we had some inquiries in the Middle East of different sectors. Kenyans working there, some of them in official contracts, some of them Kemboi, some of them Dalalas, those who are professionals. We have had inquiries. We have also had the Ministry of, the ambassador there, and our consular there, also the labor attaché giving their own input. We have also visited the Philippines labor attaché's offices so that we get all that. And now they are doing inquiries. I think recently we met with those who have come back from Saudi Arabia, those who are comfortable, and those who said that they were molested there. They gave their own side of the story. There will be a public inquiry which is advertised in our newspaper that start, I think, on the 19th to around 20-something. And people are supposed to put written memorandums or oral memorandums. And then later on, the committee will come up with a report that will have very clear recommendations. Whatever I said is my personal view, is my personal opinion. And as any other Kenyan, you are entitled to your own opinion. Okay. You can say this is what I have seen, but that is not the report of the committee.
All right. Okay. Ambassador?
Yes, I think that is in order for Mheshimiwa responding. And yeah, we saw what you said went down viral. It's, as you said, it is your personal view, and people also had their views their own way.
Yes.
After your opinion. So I think that one we won't be able to discuss here today, because we just want to know, what you guys did, and you've just answered. Another thing is, Mheshimiwa, now, if I know we have different opinions and views as years and days go.
Yes.
I saw someone writing in the comment that you are where you are because of Raila. Now may shift to Kosai unasukuma wheelbarrow. What happened?
My brother, first of all, let me thank you, Ambassador. You are so professional. Some of us are taken a motive by social media reports. And these social media reports, most of it is not authentic. And some of them are really rumors. I'm telling you, if the world went by social media report on COVID-19 vaccination, not a single person in the world will have been vaccinated against COVID-19. Because what they were giving us, and even videos they were giving us, I remember seeing a video of an old Mzungu who was vaccinated on the deltoid muscles. And then when you put a shilling there, it is like a magnet. And we are told that you'll die after 2 years. And we are told that this is a way of the whites eliminating the blacks and so on. So some of these social media reports, we really need to be a bit careful. And I thank you because you are a bit careful. You know, some people take those emotions and motions because of social media, and some of these people, you don't even scrutinize who is giving this video, because the responses from what I said, if you have gone through, you know, I did it specifically. Posted it at few minutes to midnight, remove it before morning so that I can see, because I also was doing my own inquiry. Are these people slaves? Because slaves can't access free Wi-Fi, and you know the time in Kenya and the time in Saudi Arabia is the same. So we are in the same time frame. So I knew it was midnight there, it was before morning there. So I wanted to know, are these people really slaves? Are they really working? But when now it went viral, and the videos of some of them abusing me, some of them you see very well, are in very good beds. Some of them are abusing me, and if you see how they have dressed and how they have used cosmetics, how they have bleached themselves, some of them have gold, then it was part of my inquiry if really they are slaves, because slaves don't access to such issues. Now, coming to your question of I am a National Assembly courtesy of Raila. Let me assure you, there are only 12 nominated members of parliament in National Assembly. But there are 349 members of the National Assembly. So from your own analysis, it is very easier to be elected rather than to be nominated. It is more difficult to be nominated because there are only one president in the country and two. So it is very difficult to be elected as a president rather than being elected as a member of parliament. It is equally more taxing to be elected as a governor because there are only 47 of them rather than being elected as a member of parliament. So this, in the same calculation, it is very difficult for you to be nominated more than being elected. It is easier for you to be elected rather than be nominated because there are only 12 available slots, while the other ones are 349 available slots. As per why I'm there, it is because of our constitution, which is not basically the 2010, but even our constitution before, because Honorable Josephine Sinyo was there nominated by President Moi in 1992 to represent persons with disability in the National Assembly. So the representation of persons with disability have always been there. So it is not courtesy of Raila, because the constitution of 2010, of which I got a slot courtesy of that constitution, was a constitution that was voted yes by 6 million Kenyans. So I'm there courtesy of 6 million Kenyans, not courtesy of one person. If we have to reduce it to one person, then we'll give it to Kibaki, because he was the president at that time, and he was the one who initiated and made sure that he campaigned for the constitution. Having said that, I am with William Samoei Arap Ruto, and I'm a hustler. And the reasons are very clear. First of all, I believe in the bottom-up economic model rather than the trickle-down economic model, which our country have failed in. And if you allow me, Honorable Bitok, to explain the difference between the bottom-up economic model and the trickle-down economic model, and that's why I'm there.
Please go ahead.
It is because the trickle-down economic model, which we have used pre- and post-independent, are failing in Kenya. In trickle-down economic model is where we protect using laws and even resources the big corporate. You know, we protect them thinking that they will offer jobs or opportunities, so employment. They also pay taxes, and they will also do what we call corporate social responsibility. But it's unfortunate in Kenya because these have been fodder for corrupt individuals, these big corporate. Corruption happened in KEMSA, corruption happened in KQ, corruption happened in these big corporate, which we have protected using law, which we are protected using resources. How we protect them using law is by making them monopoly. You know, when Safaricom was monopoly, it used to charge 67 shillings for you to make a call. But when we open up the market, the law was changed. The market was opened up for competition. We call now using 1 shilling per minute. A SIM card used to cost 2,500. I bought one with 2,500 shillings. Okay. But nowadays we are being given SIM card free of charge because we actually open the competition. That is, we will no longer protect them using law. We protect KQ using law by making mandatory for any government officer traveling within our country and outside our country to use KQ. Yet they still continue making losses. Why? And they charge very expensively because of corruption. But the small airlines, private airlines like Fly 540, Silverstone, which get customers through like Matatu Beba, they still make profits. So we saw as the hustler movement that these big corporates, some of them are laying off workers, some of them are not even paying taxes because they are declaring losses. If KQ declare losses, it does not pay taxes. So it does not actually do what we thought it will do. So we decided, let us go to the bottom-up economic model. In the bottom-up economic model, what we will do is to protect the small enterprises so that they can also make money using law. And let me give you an example of how we protect small enterprises using law. I know in America, I've gone to New York City, and in Manhattan, there is little Italy, there is little China. There are food vendors within, there are hawkers within Manhattan, the capital city of the world. Why? Because the laws have protected them. They have been organized to be able to do business. Back in Kenya, before Kibaki protected the border industry, it was very difficult to see a motorcycle in Kenya. It used to cost 1 million for you to own a motorcycle. But because Kibaki protected using law, that small enterprise called Boda, it is now an industry employing millions of youth. Again, if we take the money that we have been giving to resuscitate KQ and give small enterprises, we may be able to support 1 million small enterprises, each being given 100,000. 1 million small enterprises. Wenye watafungua mwingine duka, mwingine atafungua M-Pesa shop, mwingine atafungua a carpenter shop, we will have 1 million new taxpayers. We'll have 1 million new employers. That is how we will be able to jumpstart our economy because we are in an economic meltdown. Again, in the trickle-down economic model, we use capital-intensive infrastructure because it is assumed that you are already rich, you let your money work for you. But in Kenya, we are not rich, we are poor. So let us allow our muscles to work for us in what we call labor-intensive investment. So Kenya, we can do labor-intensive investment. I'll give you 2 examples so that I can finish. One example is of my own personal experience. Somebody came to me and he said that he was communicated from where he come from and he have nothing. His home was burned. I don't want to go to the detail. He had nothing. He told me, what can I do? I told him, Musa was told, what do you have in your arms? He said, I have a stick. That stick is what actually opened the way for Israelites across the Red Sea. So I also told him, what do you have in your arms? He said, I only have 500 shillings. I told him, ingia kwa duka ya sembeo, nunua mwavuli, nunua torch, na utafute fimbo. And then he went there to the market, livestock market, and become what we call in Kimasai or Borogwai. That you buy your cows, and then you allow him to drive the cows all the way to Nairobi for the market. So each cow he was being paid 1,000. And he will drive it for 1 week. So the first day he got around 10 cows. He drove the cows all the way to Nairobi and got 10,000. Over time, he was trusted. So he can drive 100 cows all the way to Nairobi at a cost of 1,000 per cow. That is 100,000 per week. That is 400,000 per month. That guy was making money just the way the guy was using capital-intensive investment by buying the cows and letting his money, drive the cows, was making profit. So here in Kenya, let me give you an example of labor intensive versus capital intensive investment. See the expressway. It costs Kenya 80 billion. If we decided, instead of the expressway, which is capital intensive, it have only employed 3,000 Kenyans because it's machineries that are doing the job. Yeah. Why don't we do labor intensive investment like affordable housing? 80 billion in affordable housing will be able to construct 80,000 units of 1 million each. 80,000 units of 1 million each. Each of them, each unit will employ a carpenter, a mason, an electrician, a painter, and a plumber. That is 5. 5 times 80,000 will have created 400,000 jobs rather than 3,000 jobs in a capital intensive investment like expressway. So I believe in this movement, and that is why I'm in that movement. Lastly, who doesn't believe in a man who stand on his own, who the rest have no agenda, have no manifesto, have no economic model, but are just united against him. You know, even Raila Odinga said, let us unite against Ruto or we perish. So you can imagine 7 characters getting united against one man. We will not be proud of that real moran. You know, the former prime minister, the former deputy prime minister, 2 of them, the former vice president, 2 of them, the former minister of foreign affairs, the son of a former president, all of them looking for endorsement from the sitting president just to fight one single individual. Surely, I'll be proud of such a moran. In fact, if I was William Ruto, I will be smiling every day and I will be self-actualized that wanaume vigogo ya siasa wasaba wanaungana against me peke yangu. In fact, I wish I was Ruto. Yes, ati na watako lao wenyewe peke yao. And lastly, we have a long history with William Ruto. We have been friends. There was a time he bought for me crutches. Well, my crutches were ilivunjika. That is another story for another day. But it is not because of that I'm following him. It is because he understands what is happening. And some people ask us, do you believe in the hustlers just all of a sudden? No. Personally, I was suspended from the University of Nairobi for condemning commercialization of education through parallel degree program. Okay. I said pursuing medicine will now require 600,000 per term, meaning it is around 4 million that you need. Hustlers cannot be able to afford. So I rejected commercialization of education in the University of Nairobi. While I was a student in the University of Nairobi, I was the student president. Okay. I was tortured. I was jailed 11 times. There was assassination attempts around 3 times. One of them, the little shop that I had, because as a hustler, I used to pay my own school fees. Okay. So I had a mitumba shop in Suswa. If you go today to Suswa, Bitok, ask where my house was burned down at midnight. And nikatoka huko nikiwa sina nguo, nikiwa uchi, nikicrawl. So for the hustlers, we have been fighting for them ever since. It's not all of a sudden. And again, see what Ruto is proud of. Rural electrification. It's all about hustlers. Rural electrification. Because he said, where Bitok, uko katika hii 9 planet. Hii ni gorofa. Uko na nyumba mzuri, utaakisha stima. Lakini ule pia mwenye ako kwa nyumba ya nyasi, ule hustler mwenye ako kwa nyumba ya matope, ule mwenye ako kwa manyata ya Masai, ataakisha stima pia. That was all about hustlers. So it is not that we have all of a sudden started believing in hustlers. Okay. Lastly, I want to answer my friend ambassador. I'm Nasukuma wheelbarrow. Yeah. And accidentally, a wheelbarrow is a symbol of hard work. Okay. People who are ready to push beyond the limit. And that is what I am. I'm a hustler. I wake up before others. That's why I was here before you be talk. I sleep after others because I work very hard. Because I work very hard to earn a living. Wewe umeniona hata nikiwa ndani ya ng'ombe nikichunga. Siku hizi hapa niko na biashara ya nguruwe. So this is a symbol of hard work. It's not that we want to go back to analog. We are just telling people you must eat from your sweat. You must sweat for you to eat. That is the directive from the Bible. But you know, wale wengine They are so concerned that they are just sitting down discussing about our symbol of hard work, discussing about a symbol of another party, instead of explaining to us what does the orange mean. Because it is a symbol of your party. Does it mean orange itatumiwa kama gurudumu ya wheelbarrow? Ama orange inamaanishanga nini? Ile mwingine ako na umbrella. Does it mean umbrella itatumiwa kama parachute ya kushukia huko Wilson Airport? Na ile mwingine ako na jogoo, kuku. Does it mean hiyo symbol yako ya jogoo ni kuku, utapatia watu kitoweo? Wengine wako na simba. You know, so discuss about your party symbol. Wachana na party symbol ya watu wengine. You know, you lack anything to do. And that's why they depended on BBI to create 5 positions. So that waseme we kabila hii, lete kabila hii, lete hii kabila ingine, to combine 5 big tribes, tutapata kura ya kutosha. Alafu baadaye ndio wakuja waseme, sasa watu wenye tumewaleta tuwafanyie nini? Unajua sisi tumesema economic model, tumesema manifesto, so that tupate kura kulingana na ile manifesto yenye tumesha ahidi wa Kenya. Lakini hao wanataka kabila hii na kabila hii waungane, alafu baadaye ndio waseme, by the way, tutawafanyia nini? Tutatumia trickle down economic model, ama tutatumia bottom up, ama middle out, ama tutatumia kitu gani? So I'm proud of where I am, and I believe in wherever I am, and I am sure the Big Four agenda will be secured under the bottom up economic model. Because even the Big Four agenda, affordable housing, was all about wewe hustler mwenye wezi jijengea nyumba, how can the government come in and assist you get an affordable house? All
right. I'm saying there are 2 gentlemen here. Well, I'm saying Felix has joined us. Let me start with engineer. Okay. Yes.
Before Senator Akuja sema maoni yake, just a quick one. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for your response, and of course it has been in detail. But again, you said you got nominated, to represent people with disabilities, and of course people who are homeless. Na wale wengine wenye
no, person with disabilities. Person with disabilities.
Yes. So, have you...
Amesema being homeless is not a disability.
So, mimi nauliza tu Mheshimiwa, now that you've been there for a while, do you feel that you've represented them? Are there some, areas that you feel that you've represented them well in regards to, passing in some laws, doing some justice for them in regards to, some few things that you've discussed in Parliament that is of help to them? And of course, the last one is you mentioned the bottom-up economic model. And of course, what is happening with drought? Why are we crying? Are there no options in, with our people in Samburu? People are dying out of anger. Hakuna maji inaweza tengenezwa huko watu wapate, how is this bottom-up going to help people like those ones?
Yes, thank you very much. And let me answer first of all the first question. Is that what I've done for person with disability? I'm sure if you can go to the answer and all the records, you will realize that anybody knows that there is only one representative of person with disability in National Assembly while we are 4. But because of how I have come out to first of all make sure that person with disability no longer rely on sympathy, but also seek opportunities. And again, I've come forcefully as their role model that it is possible, because what was a problem with person with disability is, first of all, self-esteem. While I was a chairman National Council for Person with Disability, I made sure that the self-esteem have come up. And in Parliament, we have passed several laws. One of them, and allow me to tell you that I always enter Parliament before the Speaker and leave after the Speaker, because issues of person with disability are cross-cutting. So I don't want the issue of youth to go through without me mentioning that we need to put into place youth with disability because they are there. I don't want the 2/3 gender rule to go through without saying what percentage of the gender top-up will be for women with disabilities, so that at least I contribute in every bill, and that is why I was rated the most active member of Parliament in National Assembly, because issues of person with disability are cross-cutting. So let me come to the specific. For a long time, persons with disability in Kenya have to travel all the way to Nairobi to get assistive devices. That means a crutch or a white cane or calipers or wheelchair. Now you can imagine somebody traveling all the way from Turkana to come to Nairobi to apply for crutches that is worth 1,500 shillings. it is economically not viable. So what I have done is to introduce a bill in Parliament, which is still in the later stages in Parliament, of NHIF being able to cover provision of assisted devices the way it covers treatment of other diseases. So that if you are in Lamu, in Peketoni, there is a clinic around you which you have identified that when you go with your card, they will be able to give you the right assisted device. Because if you come to Nairobi, they'll give you what is available. If you are tall and you are given short crutches, you will be bending while walking. That means it will cause more disability than actually curing the disability. If you come to Nairobi and it is a wheelchair which is available, crutches are not available, you will be given the wheelchair. Since you will become dormant, you will even become more disabled. So what we have done is to make sure that NHIF cover the provision of assisted devices, meaning if you are in Lamu, the clinic will know that I have this catchment area, this number of people, 10 of them, one require auxiliary crutches, another one elbow crutches, another one a wheelchair. So they will always be having the specific assistive devices that are customized to the specific clientele that they have. I think that one will be solve that issue. Again, in the issue of representation, you have seen that we are almost now well represented, because even the categories of person with disability are also different. We cannot have physically disabled only saying that they represent all person with disability. In the Senate, we have Honorable Maora, and who is a person with albinism, and me in the National Assembly who is physical. So I've made sure that the chairman of National Council for Persons with Disability is on a wheelchair, so that we also have those represented. The commissioner, who is the vice chair in the Commission on Administrative Justice, is Washington Opio, who is deaf, so that also the deaf community are represented. The vice chair of the National Gender and Equality Commission is Dr. Chomba, who is blind, visually impaired, so that also the blind are represented. So there is a lot we have done if you dare follow up. But the only problem is that most people see my political line more than what I do in Parliament. But I excuse them, because as a person with disability, my disability is not a qualification. I have to come out. If I need those nomination slots, I have also to be very active in the political sphere. Because even if you are disabled, you cannot be employed as a doctor without going through the training as a doctor. So I excuse them who see me mostly in the political scene, because I have to be aggressive enough, because disability is not a qualification. I have to make myself ready for nomination, or at least the party to recognize that I've been active there. But if you go to the answer, you'll find a lot I've done in the National Assembly. All right.
Thank you. I'll start. I'm saying Birundu has joined us as well. Felix is there. Engineer Ochieno, in 1 minute. I'm saying we're already out of time. 1 minute, Engineer Ochieno, if you are there. All right. Felix Kiprono. Okay. Engineer, very quickly, in 1 minute.
Although I came late when Honorable is already on our talk, but I'm solitary behind the Honorable of what he's saying.
Okay.
Bottom-up economy is the only economy that can save our economic model in this country. We're really behind it, and we will support it.
Okay, thank you. Felix Kiprono. Then we go to good friend Mbuyi. Felix Kiprono.
Yeah, I'm Jambo Gerald, and Apo nominated SANKOK.
Yeah, nominee 001.
Kabisa. So I'm Felix, sorry I'm late. Unajua pande hii ya hii dunia tuko kwa hustle. Tunatafuta hii bottom up.
Yes.
Yes. So I've not gotten much about the topic of the day, but I'll try and then contribute what I had today. First is we are in a very clear and trying political times, where each and every party has to come up outly and what they stand for. And I want to say that the bottom up has been very clear. It has been able to change the economy, the conversation. Sorry, and I want to urge the many other aspirants, presidential candidates, to at least be able to be clear as Ruto has been able to. Because without, I think, with a clear bottom-up hustler narrative, it's giving other people the agenda, and he's giving other presidential candidates the agenda. So they are riding on his agenda. It cannot. So it is clearly the competition it's already done. So what I will say is that on that part, others need to pull up their socks. They are quite far. They need to do some catch up. Or SANKOK, I want to say you're doing a good job for the people with disability. I've seen you several times, and you have stood with them. And in terms of legislation in parliament, keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I believe unajua kama umechoka umefika.
Yeah.
Lakini mimi naona wewe uko na nguvu, utasukumana nao wanaume kabisa. I am an aspirant hapo Baringo.
Yes.
Hata mimi Senate.
Tuma kitu mheshimiwa tukula, tuma kitu tukula. Antayas bwana, antayas. Fungua sisi.
Maneno ya disability.
Antayas.
Kwa forum ya disability tutaongea.
Okay.
Sawa. Asante sana Felix. Ombui, very quickly. Ana masaa yetu ndio inaharibika. Ombui.
Looks like Ombui is frozen.
Ala?
Engineer.
Bernard Birundu. Unmute yourself, bwana.
He's trying to.
Ombui. I can see he's unmuted, but I don't know why he's not speaking. Sipati sauti yako Ombui.
Yeah. He's speaking, but looks like he's not coming out clear. We can't hear you.
Ala? Watu wa Minnesota. Ai, sauti yako ni
poa.
Watu wa Minnesota. Haya.
Bernard, Gerald, a quick one. I hosted some guy who works with people in the US. He got disability as well. Like he was a amputee. And he was willing to be bringing a few things to Kenya, but he says that the process at the ports of Mombasa is a bit tricky, and he was requesting that if he can get connected to people who would be helping out with those ones, at least at a tax-free, and the process will be much easier when he's donating a few things to people with disability. So I think that's something we can pass it to Mheshimiwa, and he can see how we can help the guy.
Mheshimiwa, umesikia maneno?
Nimesikia. What I need is the contact, so that I can direct them to whoever will assist. And person with disability in Kenya import vehicle duty free, so they should be clapping for me. Person in Kenya don't pay taxes. We know that we have extra expenses like buying crutches, and you have not bought your legs, so person with disability don't pay taxes in this country. And person with disability also access to government procurement opportunities. That is under ACPO, that a certain percentage of all government tenders is set aside for companies owned by persons with disability. There is a lot we have done, and that is why in disability rights, Kenya is number 1 in Africa and number 5 in the world. And what is not making us number 1 in the world is because of our transport sector, which is in the hands of private sector. It's very difficult for us to implement some of these laws because we may scare away investors. It is also accessibility in the built environment, and most of our built environment is actually in the hands of private sector. And it is very difficult as a country that is struggling economically to scare away investors by implementing some of these laws by force. So what we have done instead of implementing by force is to introduce a unit in our training of architects and engineers on the need of accessibility. So there's a unit that deal with disability accessibility in the training of architects and engineers in our colleges and universities, so that we can internalize it, so that when they are building the environment, they can introduce the issue of accessibility. Like here, it may not be accessible, but I cannot come and, because the law say that they must be accessible, close this very good estate because of that. because I will scare away investors.
Yes.
So that is what we have done.
And you apologize for that, actually. You are not compliant.
But we will do with time.
Apologize. Over time, we'll do it. The problem is that when it was being built,
Yes.
it was before the time of laws on accessibility.
And at the moment,
anyway,
I have all the laws in my side that I can come and close it.
Please don't close.
But no, we cannot.
Was
You
it
know,
the
we will
book against?
scare away investors.
Yes.
And with an employment rate that we have in Kenya,
We'll
the
have a
investors will now prefer going to Tanzania and invest in Uganda and other countries. And, you know, we are struggling economically.
Oh.
That's why I'm saying we will have been number one in the world.
Procedurally, pole.
So that is why we are now
Progressive.
training
Yes.
the architectures, so that any other building that is coming up, you know, it is the architecture will say we must have a ramp here, we must have a talking lift
For compliance.
Yes, for compliance.
All right. So, Birundu, I don't know if you've managed to fix your technology. If not, then I'll bring it back to Ojola Rama so that he can take us through the last round. Tukienda nyumbani.
Yeah, Birundu amesema hatusikii, so looks like technology is failing him a little bit today.
Sawa, tumalizie chairman.
So, Bwana Gerald, thank you so much and for the guest who was at the show. I think we have an opportunity as a country to be greater, because I believe as a country, Kenya, we are rich of resources. We are not poor.
Yes.
It's only that we don't manage our resources the right way, and we misuse a lot of public funds. You know, the president has been quoted saying that we are losing 2 billion a day. So it's obvious that we have the money, but we are not using the money the right way. If we use the right way, then we'll be okay. Just a quick comment about the person with disability and structures. You're actually not chasing away investors by requiring them to install, to be compliant with person of disability facility. That is worldwide standard. So it's a standard everywhere in the world and does not have any additional cost. So I think it's high time also for us just to be proud of who we are, and we should be proud to take care of our own citizens and make sure that everybody is taken care of. So by that way, you know, once you tell people this is what we are, and then, you know, they will go ahead and take care of it. The problem is we kind of do it halfway, you know, and somebody comes and bribes somebody else, and then they, you know, some of things are overlooking, and then we get in trouble that way. So I think we have an opportunity to do better, and I you know, kudos to the Member of Parliament for championing the people of disabilities and all the everything that he has accomplished. I think we are shining example in a lot of countries, especially in Africa, that we actually do care for all spectrum of all citizens and make sure that we make a provision for them, and that's something that we should be commendable. My only other caveat is once again, and I always try to reiterate this in all our shows, Gerald, is this is the only country we have. We don't have two Kenyas. We only have one Kenya. We cannot burn our country to the ground because we have to prove a political point. At the end of the day, let us be measured in our talks. Let us be respectful in our talks. And at the end of the day, as Kenyans, and especially as Kenyans, when I say Kenyans, ordinary citizens, know that at the end of the day, once politicking is over, once election is over, you still have to go back to your normal life. You still have to go back and hustle and make a living. So don't burn your neighbor, don't maim your neighbor, don't destroy your neighbor's property because of our political differences. Let's be cognizant of that, and let's have a peaceful campaign and a peaceful transition to the next government. Whichever government will be in power, we just need to support, because this is our country, and that's all we have.
Thank you. Give us your last word, Mheshimiwa.
Yes, when I say that we have to balance between chasing away investors and having compliance on disability accessibility, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean, because in Nairobi, 90% of the buildings are not accessible. If I shut them down, I've shut the whole of Nairobi. In our rural area, it is even worse in our rural areas. So we decided that we should actually internalize. Again, person with disability have what we call cash transfer. And those who are severely disabled receive monthly stipend. And on top of that, because there's a thin line between disability and medical condition, we also cover them using NHIF cover, National Hospital Insurance Fund, so that when they go to hospital, they are treated free of charge so that they don't become a burden. We also have a lot of funds in the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, National Council for Persons with Disability, National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya, that are there to economically empower persons with disability and also pay for their school fees, because some of them will not have plan B. They cannot be able to push wheelbarrows. They can only academically excel economically. So we make sure that they are not out of school. So there is a lot we are doing in terms of disability. I also like what we said, that we only have one country, and that is this country called Kenya. We must safeguard our country, and we must make sure that our country is safe. And if we have shed blood because of you for the longest time, several times, I think if you are patriotic enough, you just say, no, this blood have been more than enough. You know, if your quest for becoming the president have become too much in terms of losing lives, in terms of shedding blood, whether you have genuine reason or not, sometimes you just swallow your pride, swallow the bullet, and say, this blood have become too much above my head. That in 1997, we shed blood because of me. 2007, we also shed blood because of me. We lost life in 2007. We lost life in 2013 because of my quest of becoming the president. Let me shelve my quest. Even if Kenyans love me, let me shelve for the sake of saving life and not shedding blood.
But I would be wondering, do you think there's some positive things Raila has done? I think he has suffered for the right things at some point. So don't throw the baby with the bathwater.
But
don't throw the bathwater with the baby.
Was he fighting for us?
I think
was he fighting for us so that he can charge us? No, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Was he fighting for us so that he can charge us with our lives,
the space that
with our blood? No, let us be sincere. You know, there are so many people who fought for independence.
Okay.
Personally, I've told you that I was jailed. I was suspended. There was assassination attempt, 3 of them, on my life, because I was fighting for hustlers, because I was fighting for the hustlers who must access education. I didn't want commercialization of education, but I can't tell Kenyans to pay with their lives, to pay with their blood, that I fought for them. I did that one because I knew it's the right thing, and I will be in the golden pages of the history, Kenyan history book. So even Raila Odinga, he did a lot, but he must accept that it was not doing that so that we can repay him.
Okay.
And you know, and worse, repaying him using our blood, using our sweat, using our lives. You know, if it was for charging, if it was a business enterprise, then we would have told him, no, stop fighting for us. But he did it voluntarily, and he should also voluntarily say, okay, it is enough, let us also have somebody else.
Okay.
But Gerald.
Yes.
Real quick.
Tunaenda nyumbani.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to make a personal request to Mheshimiwa and a challenge also. We have an issue that, Gerald, maybe we have not really talked a lot, and I've seen this is becoming now a common thing. The issue of poor Kenyans who rack up medical bills, and when unfortunately they pass away, the families are forced to raise large sums of money just for them to get their loved ones to go and bury. Is there a way we can enact a law and make sure that, you know, Kenyans are not charged exorbitant fee, especially with this COVID pandemic? I know of a family that the family don't have anything that's close to even $1 million, but when their loved one died, they were forced to fundraise almost $3 million just to get a body to go and bury. That is not inclusive of the funeral expenses. Just a challenge to
thank you so much.
To get that in Parliament, see if we can help out our fellow Kenyans, especially with this matter. Because you even know there are some people who are in hospital even now, they can't leave because they have bills to pay and they can't afford it. So that's a challenge to him, and see if he can get his fellow members of Parliament to do something.
I wish we started on that one, because that is a very intelligent contribution. And I must say that Kenyans are one illness away from poverty. Even if you are a millionaire, you are just one illness away from poverty. Ugonjwa ikikupata vizuri, wewe umekuwa maskini oahoe mpaka unafanya fundraising.
Ugonjwa moja tu.
One illness away from poverty.
Yes.
One disease away from poverty. But you know, all these things, we actually had it in our play. In the Big Four agenda, we had the universal health care. We had the food security. So we wanted to secure Kenyans, because the issue of disease is also all about food security, because if you don't eat well, then there's a possibility of getting ill. And again, universal health care will have been having a national insurance fund covering all diseases and covering for every Kenyan, that when you get sick, you don't have to sell your land, you don't have to sell your property to go to hospital. But unfortunately, when we went to our second term as Jubilee, then we were told, because there were new advisors to the president, that this is no longer a priority. Universal healthcare is no longer a priority. What is a priority is BBI. What is a priority is reggae. What is a priority is creating 5 extra position of the prime minister and deputy prime minister to deputy prime minister. What is a priority is creating 70 more constituencies to massage the ego of other characters. So unfortunately, we must speak the truth that it was BBI and the reggae that took us off the lane. But once the Hustler government is in place, the first thing that we'll do is to make sure that we have universal healthcare so that Kenyans will not be dying and Kenyans will not be becoming poor simply because of being struck by one disease.
All right. Thank you so much, Chairman, for joining us. Asante sana, Mheshimiwa, for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure. That's been the talk call, the 18th of November 2021, and it ends now. Bye-bye, and see you again tomorrow on Sheria Wiki.